Podcast is powered by Control. Control is a meal replacement and functional foods business whose mission is to improve the lifestyles of gamers and content creators by making them healthier. Their meal replacement shakes and meal on the go bars are the best tasting products in their category while also giving you all the protein, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients you need to keep you going. Check out drinkcontrol.com and try out the sample kits to see what all the hype is about.
No sound apparently.
All that lovely intro.
Is that right? We have no sound?
Can't hear you either, Jesse. There we go. We have audio. I'm just going to redo the intro again because it was quite fun. Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 148 of the XboxEra Podcast. I'm your host, Sig Mechanico, and I'm joined, as usual, by a non-worried, non-scared, totally at ease, everything's right in the world, Special Nick.
Let's try again. What's going on?
Are you feeling okay now? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good. Man, that was traumatic last week.
Was great. It was great.
Full on.
I've never seen you so uncomfortable.
It's
glorious.
Like, I don't think people quite understand like the way Seamus was acting. Like he was like a real genuine
bastard.
Just a prick. Like he was just being a rude prick. Like, and it was so.
It was great.
I was so taken aback by it because of the fact that we had been fine for so long. But yeah, anyway,
it's all good fun. We've got Jesse here as well, who's in the pulpit doing all the cool stuff to make.
Hello, and I would just like to say once again how much I don't like OBS because I didn't press anything, and the sound came back on. Didn't touch it, so don't ask me why it was muted. I don't know. It showed on the meters that everything was. You were talking.
No one will know.
Hi, everyone.
No one will know in the audio version, apparently, that there was ever a problem. It's nice to see you, chat. Everyone I hope you're having a lovely weekend. It's already too short. It's already nearly over. I can see some people have been following me on Twitter today. I posted I had a giant T-bone steak for like a late lunch today. People were thinking I was in America or something. I was like, nah.
That's a lot of food.
It was, we'd not eaten any breakfast, and it was like I think it was an 18-ounce T-bone.
But you didn't eat dinner then, did you?
No. I skipped dinner.
That had to have covered you for the day.
Yeah, I was done. But it was good because we went to this fancy steak restaurant place in Chelmsford, which is about half hour from me. And there was like an offer with the app for £10 off, like if you downloaded the app at the table. And plus, we also had a blue light card, which is if you work for the NHS, you get like some places do a blue light discount. And we asked the waiter, like, hey, which one can we use? Which one's better? And he was like, you can use both. So as soon as I saw that the T-bone steak was like 35 quid, I was like, well, it's 25%, 30% off the normal price. So I might as well go big or go home. So I did.
So almost about $60 Australian. For
it was about 120 quid's worth of food or something crazy. And we spent, I think it was like 80 or something. It was great. Yeah. It was a really, really nice meal. So very sleepy. But I'm here. I'm here to talk to all of you about the week's gaming news. But before we do that, two important questions. Have you had your breakfast yet? Are you feeling energized?
Yeah. I didn't have a chance this morning for my usual breakfast, but that doesn't mean I won't encourage you guys to make sure you have your shaker of Fruity Flakes Control or whatever flavor takes your fancy. Jesse seems to like what was the one you like, Jesse?
The cookies and cream is great. Fruity Flakes is good, and they're sending me Cocoa Crunch, so I'm excited.
Yes, and cinnamon toast is very nice as well.
Peanut butter was very good too. They're all good. I haven't had a bad one yet. The peanut butter crunch. Oh,
okay, we don't have that in
try it.
Australia. Australia doesn't have that one. You do. You seriously do. Like it's so nice. And the kids will go like nuts for it. The kids will go like just give them a scoop each because you don't want to overdo it. It's got like protein and stuff in it. So just the scoop each. Make them a little milkshake, and it'll fill them up, mate.
Wow.
It's,
I also got a new. I know vaping is not cool, kids. Smoking is bad. But I got a new toy. So I got a giant, even more powerful machine to enjoy nicotine with. It's been a great weekend. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a pleasant place.
Go to the link that Jesse's put there.
He has put the link. 10%.
Control 10% off. Use our code.
It's in chat. It's even pinned in chat. You can just click it. There you go.
You probably should chat. You probably should. It helps us out too.
Before we hit a bunch of stuff, John, do you want to do the giveaway?
To
announce the winner.
Oh,
yeah, we have a giveaway.
The winner has been chosen.
Yeah, we did a giveaway on Twitter.
Karakuri edition.
Wow. You reviewed Wild Hearts, right? You quite enjoyed it.
Good game. Yep. Gave it an 8.3. It kind of looks fuzzy at times, but other than that, I think it is a more adult and I think maybe even better game than Monster Hunter in many ways.
Wow.
Because Monster Hunter is real ooh-woo. If you're not into ooh-woo.
Wow.
Yeah. I did not enjoy Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's not my kind of game.
Yeah, Monster Hunter is a specific thing, and you've got to be into that style, and you know it, and it's really mechanically complex. I have found that Wild Hearts is more adult and both easier to get into, and the Green Lantern powers are goddamn cool. Just the fact that you can spawn giant cartoon hammers in front of you pretty much whenever you want is great. I like that game quite a bit.
Yeah, it looks interesting, but it's probably something out of the plethora of games that are coming out this year. It's just nuts already. But yes, we used Retweet Picker to pick a winner. So at random from all of the entrants for the Wild Hearts copy. Are you happy for me to just?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The winner, according to Retweet Picker, is at Goldshell, aka Shellbound. They've won themselves a copy of Wild Hearts Super Duper whatever edition.
Hopefully they're watching.
Hopefully they're watching.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Giveaways bring a certain.
I've retweeted them out, so they've been pinged.
Lovely. Keep an eye out for the cheeky DM from someone who copies the profile picture, renames their Twitter account, and pretends that they're you. So make sure you DM him first, and not him DM.
I'll just do it on Discord because I know him there.
Cool.
It was somebody I've actually heard of. It was a neat thing. I was like, oh,
yeah, I know them too.
I love Retweet Picker. It's very helpful for that. It's great to be able to pick at random. We're doing another giveaway though, right? We've got another giveaway to give away.
It was going to go live on.
Yeah, we're not doing it yet.
Yeah. So going live, and Jesus Christ, I can't remember when the hell I set it for. 10 a.m. on Monday. Keep an eye out on our Twitter feed for a deluxe edition of Like a Dragon Ishin.
Ooh, which recently earned a whopping 9 out of 10, I believe, from Harmonica. Who very kindly, by the way, because Harmy is a fellow Brit like myself, and he knows that sometimes, I don't know if anyone remembers the infamous F1 video I did once where I butchered some pronunciations of names. So I suddenly started getting a random WhatsApp from Harmy earlier this week, and he was like, Satayoma Rico, like all the names, all the things with the pronunciations, and he was just saying them with spaces between them. I was like, what are you saying to me? It was like names for stuff in the review that I'm narrating. I was like, oh, okay, thank you. even when I read it, He'll do something like it's Ryo Gagatoku Studio, right? That
something
makes
like
the game.
That.
When I was reading the review, I was just like, the developers.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not going to try and murder
the developer of Like a Dragon Inshin.
I just don't have the heart. I don't have
Published
the heart
by
to do it.
Sega.
Sega.
Published by Sega.
But yeah, good review. If you haven't watched the video or read the review, you can head to XboxEra.com. It's been a crazy couple of weeks already, Jesse, right?
Yeah. So I went from, I got Wild Hearts on Monday and had until Thursday to do it. I got Atomic Heart on Thursday, and that has until indeterminate time before Tuesday's release to do it, which is actually done. I've beat Atomic Heart. I've written the review. I'll do the video tomorrow. And then it is immediately into Wolong, which I already have.
Yes. Yeah, I do have Wolong. And it's an interesting one revisiting it. And obviously I played the demo. So I'm talking about the demo here. But when my review for Wanted Dead came out, I've been talking about that game for a couple of weeks, right? They gave us like 3-4 weeks of that Wanted Dead thing. It came out on Valentine's Day, right? And it's fair to say I did not like the game. And I knew as soon as I wrote the review that there were going to be a certain subset of people that are going to say things like, oh, he sucks at the game, so he hates the game is bad. And I'm like, I understand that viewpoint, right? Because I'm not great at the game, I fully admit. But playing Wolong, you can feel the difference. Very similar in terms of combat style, right? But Wolong, when I die, that's my fault. I've not been bullshitted. I've not been lied to. All the attacks are telegraphed correctly. I can understand the interplay between all the systems, right? I can objectively look at that and go, even though I might suck at that particular moment, I can feel the need and the urge to get good. You know what I mean? Whereas Wanted Dead was such a piece of absolute garbage, in my opinion. And I get there's something there, right? The gun sword combat.
Gun cutter.
Like, I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this could be really cool. And there is something there. There's like a little diamond somewhere in there that could be really fleshed out into something super unique. But everything else about that game is absolute garbage. And like, it blows my mind the lengths people will go to sometimes to defend a purchase. It's fine. You know, it's your money. It's your choice. But you cannot tell me by the end of that last level, if you've got there yet, if you're at the last level, it is literally just repeated rooms. The camera doesn't work. The song is just on loop, and it is just so bad. I'm stunned. Like,
and I didn't have issues. I got through it pretty easily without. I got through the first level. I think I only died one time, and I was like, I can't play anymore of this. This is so bad. It's so repetitive. It doesn't look good. It never feels good.
Yeah.
The story is interestingly bonkers, so it might be worth watching a Let's Play or somebody stream it. But as far as actually playing it, it was miserable.
The story is interestingly nonsensical. Like,
yeah, it's just really weird. It's not good, but weird.
It's so, yeah. Okay. I'm not a fan. But yeah, so we've done that. And Jesse hit me up for some co-op on Wolong for the review.
I will.
I have a feeling that will be a good laugh. I don't think you can unlock co-op until you've got past a certain section from memory.
Yeah, probably.
So, but yeah, interesting times. Lots coming to the site, and God knows how we're going to do it all, but we'll manage somehow.
That is something I said on the forums. Is there's too much coming out. So this constant list war about first party. Look, I understand. It's interesting, but it's like there's too many games coming out. Even if you just went on Game Pass and looked at what's coming this year, like Lies of P just get dated for August. Like there's
Seafood
every
next month. Party Animals soon.
Wolong coming like March 3rd or something. Like there's Atomic Heart coming Tuesday. Atomic Heart is coming out Tuesday. Then Wolong hits under 2 weeks later, and then there's more, and there's Minecraft Legends, and there's Redfall, and there are too many games coming out for anyone to fully keep up with.
Who'd have thought you'd ever hear an Xbox podcast say that?
Yeah, but that's because we don't care if it's first party or not.
Oh,
like we don't have that obsession with, oh my god, it has to be first. If it's not a first party game, well, it doesn't actually count as a game. Like, a game is a game on the console you own.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I find that a weird obsession. But anyway.
It is weird. But suffice to say, I think people, especially if you have a Game Pass subscription, are eating for the next
There's too much.
But yeah, chat, it's really lovely to see you all. Don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us out in terms of the algorithm. I can only see a mere 27 likes. You know, it's just one little button press. Done. Push. Just shoot that number up. There's a few things to chat about this week, but you know, I know we were touching on some games there. Have you actually been playing anything else new, Nick, or is it just
one thing that I mean, I've had a very busy week because I was trying to buy a new house, so haven't been playing I've been playing stuff, but one thing I think this week was the tipping point where I think I realized either A, I'm not great at games, or B, I think I have this bad habit. I'm realizing that I want to complete games 100%. I have this weird obsession with wanting to 100% games, and then I never wind up finishing most of them. Like, I'm seeing people on Twitter, and they're all like, finished Metroid Prime, finished Dead Space, finished Hi-Fi Rush. Like, Jason, my mate Jason, has beat Hi-Fi Rush 6 times now. I haven't beat it the first time yet. I haven't beat it the first time yet. I still haven't beat Metroid Prime. I still haven't beat Dead Space. I still haven't gone through GoldenEye. I spent you know how many times I repeated, what was the level? Was it Bunker 2? I think it was Bunker 2
on GoldenEye.
On 00 Agent. Sorry?
On GoldenEye, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Because what I'm trying to do with GoldenEye is I'm trying to do basically a level a day, but I'm doing it on 00 Agent. I want to get them all done on 00 Agent. I did Bunker 2 so many times. Like, I just kept dying constantly. And I think I'm realizing that as I get older, as much as I love playing games, I think I'm just not that great at them. Like, other people just seem to beat them so much faster than I do.
You're becoming a games journalist. That's what happens. That's literally what went through my head when I was playing Wanted Dead. I was like, oh no. Am I a games journalist now? I just suck at games.
I'm still okay. Like, I'm still brilliant at Rocket League.
Yeah, see, I'm still good-ish at Halo, right? But I definitely feel older. I feel older. And the thing about completing games is, I used to in my 20s. I used to look at achievement lists and I'd be like, I'm going to go and hunt that.
Yeah, that's right.
There are still games that tickle that for me, like especially if it's you can go back and you can load up levels and get to specific checkpoints to just do the achievement, right? So the last game I think I sat down and really hammered through making sure I unlocked everything was Little Nightmares 2, which is 2021. And it's like, otherwise it is just load it up, play the main story, especially if it's like all these games nowadays. Let's introduce the skill tree. Let's introduce role-playing game mechanics. I'm like, fuck off. I just want... So I ignore all of the side shit, and I'm just like, give me the golden path. Like I played Hogwarts Legacy, right? I played a bit of Hogwarts Legacy, and I was like, this castle's cool. Yeah, they've done a really good art direction job. This is really fleshed out. And then it's like, here's more things. Here's more things. Here's more. And I'm like, oh no. And this is...
You can ignore most of them.
I know.
You can just mainline.
I don't like ignoring. Like,
this is where games start to lose me. And it's not a bad thing. It's a personal thing, right? It's just... This is why I like this era of recent Game Pass releases. And not all of them are going to fit this vein, but like, you know, there are things like Hi-Fi Rush and other shorter, one and done, and I can move on to the thing.
Say shorter, but even I'm spending ages on Hi-Fi Rush. I don't know how everyone's beating them so fast.
It was 10 hours. It's done, 10, 11 hours. And I did it over 3 days, and I had a really good time playing it. But I'm very unlikely, unless there's a drought, which, looking at the weather at the moment from a video game perspective, is is not going to happen. But I will just not go. I will probably not go back and play and finish and do an unlock. And I'm just like, yeah, I've had my fun, had a good time, didn't pay a penny for it outside of my Game Pass subscription. Done.
Yeah, I was playing Metroid Prime last night. I don't know how many hours I've sunk into that game now. And like, I'm just trying to find everything. I've got my missiles up to 150. I think I've got about 10 life dot things. I'm trying to scan all the lore. So I'm at like 91 or 92% lore scanned. But I'm only at like 68 or 70% of items found. So I've still got tons of stuff to find, but I can't help myself. So last night I went through the whole of Phendrana Drifts, top to toe, looking for every crack and crevice. And because now that I've basically got all the stuff I need, all the weapons and everything, I'm just going through level by level, scouring every corner to look for stuff. So I went through Phendrana, went through Magmoor Caverns. Now I'm in the Chozo Ruins, which, my God, they're so big. So I'm ignoring the main thing I've got to do, and I'm trying to find all my missile expansions and all that sort of stuff, and find new stuff to scan. And it's an obsession. I love Metroid Prime so much. It's like one of the greatest games ever made.
You're going to replay a game we played, and this is why often when I see in this era of
I'm playing nothing but remakes.
GoldenEye, they
Dead
just
Space,
float on by me. I'm like,
I love them.
Hi 1999, hi 2007.
I don't care. If the game was a classic, I'll play it again. That's okay. I'm fine with that.
It takes a drought for me to play a classic again.
No. I love my old game. That's what. Look, and you guys all should know me. I love my BC. How important is BC to me?
Yeah, of course. I'm nothing if not consistent. Your love for old games, like it's fine. I'm just saying, like, in a world of all of these flavors, why would you keep going back to classic vanilla? Like
Resident Evil 4's coming.
This is what classic. This is gamer culture. Like, just give us the same thing again and again. Don't change it.
But that's the. I don't mind it. Like, there's a place for it though. Like, and some games get stuck on old hardware. So why should, like, Metroid Prime is one of the greatest games ever made, but it's kind of stuck on the GameCube, in 4:3, and
it's great on PC.
And now it's this beautiful widescreen 60. I think it's 900p on Switch.
Game. So gorgeous.
I think it's 900p on Switch, but it's so beautiful. And it's, I like a game like Maximo. It's a crime that game is stuck on the PlayStation 2. Like, I'd love for that to be redone by Capcom. Yeah, I would buy that straight away, or force my way onto the review list to get the code for it.
Oh, I mean, I've got a review code. I've got a code probably coming in for Tears of the Kingdom that it's for streaming. I have a Nintendo contact. How cool is that? I will never give you a code, Nick.
Yeah, but that would be a US code, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they're region locked.
Yeah,
Xbox are the cool ones. Sony and Nintendo, and Steam are all region locked. Sadly.
Region locked.
Yeah. I wonder if that's why Microsoft. Let's not get into it. Anyway, let's talk about some news of the week. Any tangents you want to hit before we do that? Any interesting?
No, I already talked about the house I tried to buy and did not buy.
Yeah, I talked about my giant steak.
Yeah, your giant steak.
We did the giveaway. I've given the call to Gold Chill now. I messaged him on Discord and he was like, "Oh, sweet."
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Started watching You. For the people that watch You on Netflix, not me, but You.
You?
The dude, the main star of the show who does the narration, he's sort of done a Christian Bale, and he's like over exaggerating his voice a bit now in this 4th season.
Oh God!
Like, I'm noticing it. I'm like, he's sort of overdoing his voice. It's kind of like Christopher Walken meets. I don't know. I don't even know who the other mix is, but he's added a dash of Christopher Walken to his to his talking, to his like mannerism. His inflection. He's added a bit of Christopher Walken to it, which is bothering me a little bit. But the show's good. Like there's I don't know who watches You, if anyone watches You, but they've added a twist in season 4, which I am very much enjoying. Like they've added a whodunit element to it, a la Knives Out. Like I'm enjoying it very much. This twist that they've added, it's good.
Well, I have been. I watched the recent Last of Us episode. Really good.
Yep,
really good.
That's the one with the what's his name? In the show they made him deaf, but I don't think he was deaf in the game. Sam and Henry.
Yes, Sam and Henry.
Yeah, I don't. Again, you'll have to forgive me because I skipped the cutscene, so I can't remember if Sam was. I didn't think he was. I think they've done that for the show, but maybe I'm wrong. Everyone's going on about that episode. I think I prefer the Bill and Frank episode to that one. As far as if I was ranking episodes, I'd still have the Bill and Frank one above that.
I guess it shows to a degree, from my perspective, as someone who watches a lot of TV and movies. Like I love a lot of that stuff, right? For me, it was very much like, oh, okay, they're introducing some new characters, and one of them was a kid. Okay. And, it was very quickly telegraphed. So as earnest and as well done as the attempt to make me feel something, it didn't quite land personally. Like, it was incredibly well done. And if you weren't, I guess if you didn't pick up on the kind of obvious cues, you would be like, but yeah, it was brutal. But it bums me out, man. I watch it and I'm just like, what could have been if someone had just done a direct book of Halo Reach, Fall of Reach remake.
It would have cost $50 billion because it's such a different thing.
Yeah, I know. Well, you say that. You say that.
True. Yes.
Let's think about it, right?
They don't have nearly enough dialogue. They'd have to build so much narrative around it, and then like most of it would be movie level budget to try and do any of those space battles. Like it's such a different thing. The Last of Us is very contained. I'm sure it's not cheap, but compared to trying to build an entire new galaxy and that type of stuff, like a TV show is just always going to have to have its fight episodes and then have a bunch of stuff in between. The Quan stuff sucked. But I don't think the format would have been able to be that different unless they had a $20 million an episode budget on Amazon or something crazy.
I think it's just the perils of the partner that they're currently starred with. Yes, it was the most expensive show that partner ever made, but and it's just lots of mind-boggling things. But anyway, it is what it is. Maybe one day I'll get the movie I truly feel I deserve.
Hopefully, season 2 will be better.
Hopefully. There's people.
It's not going to be broken up by COVID too, which I think will definitely help.
Yeah,
because their shooting schedule was real messed up.
See.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, folks, news of the week. What's been going down? Lots of interesting things. Lots of interesting things, really.
Just today, wasn't it? Just now.
Thankfully,
they talked about
mostly to IGN Fan Fest, which is going on at the moment. So if you haven't caught this as well. There's a bunch of new things coming out. So the first up being Redfall has a new trailer. And of particular note to me is, and this is a big deal, they talk about co-op and it is untethered.
Untethered co-op.
Yes, all 4 of you can play together, but you don't have to stay within a certain perimeter of each other to go off and have fun. You can be in completely different places and doing your own
thing.
thing.
I don't understand why you would do that in co-op. That still always befuddled me that people would complain about being tethered in co-op.
I do think if you're not doing the untethered system, it hits hard in something like State of Decay 2, where it is a very tight tether. So if a game world is big, I think Halo got it pretty well, where you can be very far away from each other, not all the way across the map, but you can be like a mile and a half. You can be like a mile away from each other. State of Decay 2 was like 500 feet, and I do think this is one of the reasons why they're doing the always online aspect.
Yeah, I think that is exactly
but like,
right.
So am I the weird one in this? Like when I play co-op, I stick close to like we want to play together. That's the whole point, isn't it?
Yes. I don't disagree with you.
Maybe it's like you can just fast travel back to a hub, drop your stuff off, change things up, and it doesn't have to drag everyone with you. You can go do that real quick, come right back type of stuff. Like you're not being always tethered can hurt the quality of life when, or like Diablo, when I'd be playing something and someone would pause and we're doing couch co-op and so I can't do anything because they're just paused. Like trying to avoid those types of things whenever you can. I think it works pretty well to have it untethered.
Maybe that's why co-op worked so well in Gears, because Gears was so linear that no one even thought, hey, let's separate. Like, you're there together. You want to fight together.
Unless you were playing with someone who was bad and they constantly died, and then you had to restart over and over again.
That's a different thing.
Someone there, Jesse.
That's a different thing. But, like, I never understood all the outrage I used to see over the different co-op quirks. Oh, my God, I'm tethered. It's like, that's not a thought that ever crossed my mind. There were, like, I understand a super tight tether being an issue, like a ridiculously tight one, but a tether in general, I never understood the complaint, because when I choose to play co-op, it's because I'm choosing to play with someone. Why would I want to go off and do my own thing? I'll just play on my own then. It's just weird.
People have weird, like, seeing all the uproar. So, and I guess, you would have seen there was this big thing on Bethesda's support site. Redfall's not going to have a physical disc.
The physical disc thing.
Everyone got their pitchforks out, marching on the Capitol, all of this sort of stuff. And it's like, oh, wait, no, it's just a typo. It's just an incorrect statement. Like, chill out. It has. And then people are like, yeah, but now it's always online. So they've gone from whinging to one thing about another thing. And I'm like, why can't a developer say, yeah, this is what the game is? Why can't that just be how it is? Oh, your movie's coming out and it's coming out on this day. Like, no one complains in the same way they do about video games. It's just really weird. Like,
I wonder if those same people that are now saying, oh, Redfall preservation, I wonder if a lot of them are the same people that are like, who cares about PC and old games?
Maybe, man. Maybe. It just strikes me as odd. It's just a really odd approach.
And if you really care about preservation, it's on PC. That's where things are going to get preserved. It's not the old way where console games were just locked to it, and even then we can just emulate them. Like, it's just very annoying.
I'm bothered more by online servers and stuff being shut down. That's what I'm bothered more by, as opposed to this, because I don't know, most of these online servers are run by like very rich companies. So I find a little excuse for them to be throwing the money excuse at why they want to shut it down. It doesn't sit well with me. Like when you've bought a game that has online multiplayer as well as campaign, like Halo, that's what you've paid for. You've paid for all of it. And then one day they're just like, well, by the way, half of this game that you've paid for, you can't access it anymore. That's the stuff that bothers me.
Yeah.
Like Crossfire X was the worst one because it's an offline campaign, but it's tied to their online launcher, and so you lose your offline campaign.
That's a problem. Like that is an issue.
Knockout City was fully online, but they're adding in the ability to run your own server. So once that game dies on PC, you can still go back and you can play it with people just like old style PC games.
Just have peer-to-peer fallback. Just have peer-to-peer. Like,
all right.
I don't get it. Like, there's nothing wrong with peer-to-peer. Okay, it's not as great as dedicated servers in my own country, but it's better than nothing. Like, especially now that everyone's internet is slowly improving. Like, my internet now in 2023 isn't what it was in 2008 or whenever the club came out, and I can still play the club to this day. So even peer-to-peer now would be a better experience than it was a decade ago. Just let us have peer-to-peer. Like, I don't care. I just want to be able to play this game online. Like, if I want to just randomly wake up one morning in 2035 and I'm like, man, I feel like playing the club. I don't know why. I just feel like playing the club online. I'm going to ring up a couple of mates and we'll all play the club. I want to be able to.
It's nice to want things.
I want to be able to. That's the part that bothers me. That.
I get it. I empathize. I empathize, my friend.
But yes, Redfall is now apparently the biggest travesty ever because even though your disc is really only a licensed token anyway.
That game's listed as over 100 gigabytes, and Xbox discs can only hold 50. So, I mean, it wasn't going to hold it all anyways.
Why don't they support the dual layer Blu-rays?
No idea.
Or Ultra HD Blu-rays or whatever?
Don't know. They never have. Ever.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Because the PlayStation 5 does, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does.
Mm.
But yeah, there you go. So, Redfall. New trailer looks good. Comes out May 2nd. Straight onto Game Pass.
The new trailer looks better than the Dev Direct.
Well, like I said, it depends on who's playing. And in the Dev Direct, I think it was very clear that the devs were playing and being like, okay, we're going to show this off, and very slowly moving to show that off. And you don't get a full actual sense of the game then.
Yeah. I like the look of a lot of the guns. A lot of the guns look cool.
Yeah, so much of the game looks cool. Like the more and more I see of it, I'm just like, ooh, I really like this. And ooh, I really like this. And
I hope it's good.
It keeps...
It's Arcane. It's going to be
looking
good.
nice.
It's going to be great. It's Arcane. They don't miss.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm talking about for me personally. I don't care about Metacritic. I'm talking about for me personally. The last Arcane game I truly, truly liked. I liked Dishonored. Dishonored was good. And Death of the Outsider is good, which I need to go back to. Death of the Outsider is good. Deathloop just... I don't know. It just didn't grab me, Deathloop.
Deathloop is great when you realize you don't have to stealth because everyone is there and bad because it's all about you using them to get what you need. And it's not supposed to be like a tough game combat-wise most of the time. It's meant for you to be really... You're super overpowered. They're idiots who have no idea what's going on. So they are tools for you to use as you're going along, powering yourself up more and more. Like, I think a lot of people are like, wow, this AI is terrible. It's like, well, the way the game's built, it's supposed to be. They're mostly just scientists hanging out, and you're killing them every day, and you're really good at it because you remember everything. And once you get the fact that it's a power fantasy nonstop for you, until you get to the figureheads, like that's when it really clicked for me. It's like, oh, I can mow these people down nonstop, and it became a lot of fun.
Okay,
yeah,
maybe I'll try it that way.
The thing for me, and it's one of the things that's worrying me about Deathloop and why I really want to try it, is it's all about how it feels to control. And like I played Deathloop. What did I? Yeah, like Redfall.
You said Deathloop.
Yeah, well, so it worries me about Deathloop because when I tried it, I was just like, this doesn't feel right.
It didn't feel the best, did it?
No.
It didn't feel great.
And it's better than it had been. But that, to me, is such an integral part of being a shooter that I'm just like, I don't want to fight this. That's really petty of me to kind of say.
I know you don't like doing it, but play it on the Windows Store on your super powerful PC with a mouse and keyboard. Feels unbelievable.
Yeah, you reckon it's worth a look there?
All of their games feel great on mouse and keyboard. They just never get the controller feel right.
Call of Duty, it's not even a thought when I play those in terms of how they feel.
Arcane
it's not even a thought.
Good,
you just pick it up and you just play it because they just feel amazing. You don't even think about it. It's not a...
Yeah.
You're right. With Deathloop, I'm like, I'm noticing that this doesn't feel the best. Like, I'm noticing it.
It's a really weird bugbear.
They don't get their aim acceleration down. So like you start moving and it jumps. It never feels like it's going exactly where you'd expect it to.
Yeah. That's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate.
And they rely
But anyway, hopefully Redfall does well.
Yeah, I really do. I hope it does good. But that's not all that's coming out. There was some other stuff. So before we get into what else came from IGN FanFest, Double Fine released a documentary on Psychonauts 2 that's apparently like 22 hours.
It's episodes, but it's 22 hours.
I mean, there's a part of me that wants to watch it because the studio, the team, the humor, Tim Schafer, but that's a lot of my life.
I jumped in and watched the episode where they announced they're getting bought by Xbox, and then a few days later show up at E3, and that was really good. But yeah, it was over 5,000 hours of footage over the course of like 7 years, which is why it's so long.
I think that's the thing. There's such a unique and incredible studio that you can't help but be like, oh, maybe I should see this urgently. I don't know. It's on my list. It's on my list of things to hopefully go and watch. So we'll see.
Maybe
we will see.
Diablo beta.
Yeah,
Diablo beta.
Diablo 4 beta, March 24th, March 27th.
24th to 27th.
Huh.
Remember what Yikes Mbarra said?
He
believe
said,
everything you read.
I believe, the dates have shifted slightly, but I believe we were pretty fucking correct. Yikes.
Yikes Mbarra.
And apparently he was in the news this week for being a bit yikes.
He was.
He was like, everyone should come back to work, and if you don't like it, go find another job. I'm paraphrasing, but...
No, I thought it was about QA or something. Didn't he say something about QA?
Yeah, it was a part of like QA and another part of game dev aren't long-term disciplines. They're only jumping off points. Like you get in there, you do it for a bit, it's horrible, and then you go do something else in gaming. But it was really dismissive of the people working there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I hear about QA, it sounds like a job I personally would like. Like you just keep playing the same game over and over again and break them. I do that anyway.
You do?
Like I do that just on my own without being paid to do it. I'll get paid to do that. Like I keep finding new ways to break games. I keep busting them.
Maybe that's your calling in life, man. That's what you need to go and do.
I'll do QA. I do that for free now. I'll break your game for free. I'll just play the same game.
They're not going to pay you well. That's the biggest issue. You paid real bad.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I think I'd be really good at it. I do it for free now. I break games now.
Tempting. But yeah, so he was in the news. But yeah, Diablo 4 beta coming March 24th to March 27th. That's another whopping game.
Isn't it only for pre-orders?
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
I have not pre-ordered that.
No.
I'll just wait for the full release and hope it comes to Game Pass.
I hope that Activision Blizzard.
Although, I don't know. Maybe that's looking shaky now. I don't know. Does that lead us in or not?
Do we want to talk about it? It's called an open beta a week later. It's like the
only thing that was in the news this week. There was nothing else in the news.
There were two other things at the IGN Fan Fest if we wanted to hit them.
Yeah, well, the last case of Benedict Fox got a new official story trailer, Nick. Did you know that?
Everything happened while I was sleeping. I've only been awake for like an hour and a half.
Well, there you go, buddy. But just quickly,
game I have played. I played last case of Benedict Fox.
The demo.
Actually, both of you didn't. Yeah, it's good.
The demo. I don't have a PC. I've got a Mac.
Well,
just one last thing quickly, gentlemen, before we talk about Benedict Fox. Alvin in the chat on Diablo 4 pre-order beta on the 17th. It does become an open beta on the 24th
of March.
Oh, nice.
So there you go.
Parallels has support for Mac M1 and M2s now, so I might just get Parallels, install Windows 11, and then start playing games again on my Mac.
It's like an official thing. Microsoft's working with them to get.
Windows Microsoft's like partnered with Parallels to get Windows 11 working on an M1 and M2 Mac. I'm like, okay.
You must be pretty pleased about
I've got 2 terabytes on this thing, and I'm only using like 200 gig, so I'll just install Windows on there and start playing games properly. Exciting. I'll do that with my super powerful MacBook Pro 14-inch with 64 gig of RAM. It's a beast. 64 gig of RAM. It's a monster.
You know, I gotta say, watching this trailer for Benedict Fox, why the hell did they give us such a janky-looking one in the end of January, early February? Because everything lately has looked so good.
I briefly spoke.
Can't wait for that game. I can't wait for Benedict
on a couple
Fox.
of things. I think we'll dig into that at some point with him. But it's just the way sometimes these things work out, right? Like let's not beat him up too much. Game looks great. Really looking forward to playing it.
Look how nice it looks.
Yeah, it's just really good looking.
It played well
nice
on mouse and keyboard. Some of the keybinds were weird. I know they said they're already going to be changing that up, but it played very well on my PC.
Nice, very nice,
gorgeous as man. Like, see, I
can't wait to review
get
it.
enough. I can't get enough of art styles like this.
That's because they don't age. They just always look good, forever and ever and ever.
Look how nice it looks. Look at that. Oh, looks amazing.
And the more purple you get, the better.
Yeah, purple's like the greatest color ever.
Hooray for
so
purple.
good. Look at that. Ah, can't wait.
Does look
so good.
Very, very cool.
I mean, I probably won't have an idea of what's going on story-wise, but as long as the game's enjoyable, and
you're a happy man.
A good achievement list, hopefully.
Yep. You'll be pleased. You'll be pleased as punch.
Yeah.
It's
great.
But yeah, Last Case of Benedict Fox. What else? Lies of P.
The one that got a date month.
I know, Lies of P. August now. I mean, how are we going to play all these games? Although, admittedly...
What, you want to play Lies of P? I don't think you were a
Admittedly, Lies of P... Yeah, I was about to say, admittedly, Lies of P is
zero interest in Lies of P.
How about how are we going to review all of these games? That's the real question, because, boy, has it been hard to keep up.
Look, I'm reviewing Sifu. I'll review Benedict Fox. So there's some load off you already. There's already some load off you.
I'll tell you this. If you're reviewing a game that is a lot about the story, you need to talk about the story. You cannot skip the cutscenes. Otherwise, I won't give you a code.
I think Nick
Bartek will organize something for me. We'll work it out.
I highly doubt it's going to be that long. If you want to get a review code and do it early, you can just watch the cutscenes. Non-negotiable.
I'll work something out with him. I'll see if I can get a specific patch for my copy that gives me some exposition dump at the start of the game, so I don't have to watch all the cutscenes.
It's just a synopsis at the end, yeah. It's just like, this is how it works. The end.
Exposition dump, one in the middle, and then one at the end. It says, so anyway, wrapping up. Then it just gives me an idea of what was going on. Put some effort
in, boy. Come on. No.
Look, you know what we should do to help Jesse out, because he's reviewing all the games. Anyone who's watching, if you've ever had an interest in reviewing games and you legitimately just want to play lots of games and review them, let us know.
Do you know finding people to play is not the hard thing. We don't have enough video people.
Yeah,
it's literally just me, John, and Soul, and that's very tough.
Yeah, and I would say, if you're watching this, and you watch the podcast, you watch our content on YouTube, you come and join us on the forums. That the best way you can support us is helping us grow, because the more eyes we get on, the faster we grow, the better reach we have, the more we can get to a point where some of the core members of this team who are juggling full-time jobs and this can just be like, buy a full-time job. This is my job now. And that's a dream for a lot of us. And it's what we want to get to. But getting there is freaking hard. So, patreon.com/XboxEra. Help us out. Join the team. Become part of the gang.
We have some wonderful writers. I always like to give them a shout out. Harmonica, Genghis, Fairy Empire, aka Gyotso. We got lots of good guys putting in a ton of heart. We've got lots of people putting in hard work that aren't named Nick, that are doing really good stuff. Nick occasionally spits something out as well, so I guess thanks.
I do my part. There's work I do that's less obvious stuff. It's in the background, the glue keeping everything together.
Deep down in the background.
That's right. I'm not about all the praise. I don't need all the praise up front.
Patreon.com this weekend Pre-Drag is working on the movie podcast thing, so Nick can get an even bigger head and talk about movies all the time with John, which will be a Patreon exclusive. We're going to have a lot of Patreon focused stuff, so that's our main our main area where we're going to target this year.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm happy being the guy in the background that keeps things running but doesn't always get all the praise. I'm all right with that. That's the responsibility of a co-CEO.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I would say you're the talent. You're the guy that finds and hassles all the guests, mate.
Oh, look, this is you're born with this. I can't help this. I'm blessed with this, but I do my best to make the most of it and maximize it.
It's hurting me. It's hurting my soul. It's hurting my soul, Jesse. Please stop it.
Yeah, that's right, anorexic.
That's
exactly right, anorexic. Getting high-profile guests and then getting abused by them. That's another form of work. That's mental health toll. I was very stressed out last week.
Stressed.
And these two, and I'm not lying, these two kids, I was very, very stressed out last week.
We were struggling to keep a straight face throughout that pre-lobby before Seamus joined. Just hearing you bitch, and we're just like,
oh,
it was great.
I was so angry. I was so angry.
We loved it.
Oh my God.
We loved it. It was probably the best moment for us ever on any show. We were dying inside.
He did say some very nice things about me later, though. At least during the show and stuff.
He could tell you were about to cry, and he was like, "Oh, I must have."
No, they almost made me feel uncomfortable. For someone as arrogant as me, I don't take compliments well, which is very, very weird. You'd think I'd take compliments real well. I think it's because I'm so used to everyone abusing me and just giving me crap that when someone says something really nice about me, I'm just like, my brain weirds out and I can't process it. I'm just too used to copying crap.
Yeah, I know how you feel. What else is in the news? One last cool piece of news. Mick Gordon of Soundtrack Doom fame.
I wanted to point that out because that was very nice.
Yeah, so what fee did he donate? So he donated his fee to Ukraine.
For Atomic Heart.
Wow.
I think it was his fee. Yeah, I think it was his fee for
he helped them
Heart.
with the soundtrack on that one, and the money he made from it, he has donated.
That's
Australian.
That's pretty cool.
I think it's the Australian Red Cross Ukraine appeal or something like that. Yeah, I just thought it was worth. Because I didn't see many talking about it, and I only noticed it from his Twitter. So yeah, I thought that was really good of him to do that.
Props to Mick Gordon, basically.
It's good.
Wow.
So yeah, Mick Gordon's a nice bloke. I mean, he's Australian, so it makes sense. Makes sense. He's a decent guy.
They're all right.
Ripping Blake. Sick.
Ripping and tearing.
See you next Tuesday.
Well, you can't say that.
Yeah, you can't say that, can you?
And yeah, I guess the last two pieces of news are kind of tied into the big, constant piece of news, except Kaya Sante has come in with a little question, and it's not a super chat, but Kaya Sante is a good friend of the show. Do we think Atomic Heart will get some criticism because of the Russian connection?
So it's already been getting that criticism.
It is already been getting that criticism.
And I can't, as someone who has rolled credits in the game, without giving away anything, no impressions, I would just say that game is not pro-Russian government in any way. So I hope, but I don't expect that people actually figure that out before they lose their goddamn minds.
The other thing is,
it's because their social media won't come out and condemn the war in Ukraine. It's like, well, it's because they have people in Russia and they don't want to get them in the gulag.
They probably don't want to piss off
the guy that will poison you, push you out a window.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got their blinds drawn and just keeping the doors locked at the studio. Like, I think people need to look a little bit deeper than the surface there. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those situations where there's someone on camera and they're saying, we are super happy right now, but they keep looking off screen.
That's why they've said that, well, we're headquartered in Cyprus. They point that out even in the review guide and stuff. Like, we're from Cyprus now. Like, they're trying to
see, where do they hang out? They hang out with the Greeks. See that?
Probably your tax haven. Shit.
Yeah, they hang out with the Greeks where no one works.
I think people
just hang out.
People need to just understand that just because a game development company full of normal people, not people that are in the Russian government and people that think everyone in Ukraine should die or have their homes bombed, they're just normal people that also happen to live in a country where you're not allowed to have that expression, freedom of expression, etc., right? Or you'll get pushed out of a window or poisoned with radioactive stuff or whatever. It is not America. It's not Twitter. It's real life, and you can't just lump everyone with the same belief just because they're from the country. I mean, that's nuts. Oh, you're from Russia, you're bad. Doesn't quite work, does it? Really? Like, you can say the Russian government is bad, right, for going to war, but I can't claim that every single person in Russia wants the war and thinks it should happen. That's nonsensical, and we know it's not true. So I can't criticize the development team because, yeah, they're under real threat from their own country if they come out publicly. Because it's what, for Twitter to win points with the Twitterverse? Who gives a shit?
There's probably more serious stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if there was more serious stuff going on in the background there where they have to be very careful what they say, what they do. Just, that's fine. If you want to think, you're free to think whatever you want to think. Before you go off the boiler at people, it'd be nice to have more reasonable discussions about this stuff without people just completely losing their minds over it.
You can't have reasonable discussions anymore. It's not allowed. Not allowed.
Sometimes life outside your bubble is a bit different than what you'd expect.
Yeah.
Especially Twitter's bubble, the video game bubble. It's
a crazy, crazy place.
Don't always just make assumptions. But yeah, anyway.
Super chat. With Super Chat.
Super Chat from Ko Sante, $5 Super Chat. Thank you very much. Thank you, gents, for answering my question. Sick, I'm 100% in agreement with you. I really hope the game gets judged on its merits. I love the show. Thanks, mate. I'll have to get him back on again soon.
I loved having Kay on.
Yeah, it's good.
Top bloke that man is.
But yes, Atomic Heart. So that's coming out soon. Don't know if I'll have
expect
a
review very soon. Nick, it was about
on
15...
Game Pass.
If you put it on easy, I bet you could mainline it 10 to 15 hours.
I know, but I'm going to want to go out of my way to get collectibles. That's what I'm doing in Dead Space now. I'm getting all the collectibles.
They're very regimented in that game, where they have these things called polygons, and they've talked about them before. And the polygons are their challenge dungeons that have 3 levels, bronze, silver, gold chests. You get them all. That's how you unlock most of the side stuff. But there are very easily missable achievements because can't say more. There are missable achievements, so make sure you check them out if you really just stop giving a shit about achievements. I couldn't give 2 craps.
That's why I play on Switch, because I don't have to worry about achievements on Switch.
How about get it on Steam once you've got your parallels running, and then you can just give yourself every achievement on Steam.
Play on PC.
Yeah, using a controller. No.
My DualSense. I have a DualSense controller for my Mac. Edge controller's pretty good.
Yeah, you got one of the fancy ones.
Yeah, it's not bad. Battery doesn't last long though.
Aside from that, the size of the normal one.
It's a good controller though. I do like it,
man. Should we talk about ABK?
Talk about ABK.
My God, right. So we spoke about some of this last week. CMA came out with their general preliminary, phase 2 findings, right? Where they said, we think this.
They're still very concerned, and I'm sure they're not just concerned about Sony's market position. I'm sure they really care about the consumer.
Well, there is some additional bits here. There's some additional bits. So there was a follow-up document, and I'm not sure if you've seen it, and I'm just going to go and find what it was called. But the nutshell was there was a summary of third-party calls from the CMA. All right, and this is big credit to IDAS on etc. Some highlights: calls or meetings with 6 third parties during the period of October 22 to January 23. Each of these third parties is a competitor or potential competitor with the merged entity in either console gaming services or cloud gaming services. Topics addressed: the third party's relationship with Activision, Microsoft, and any other game developers and publishers, game publishing, cloud gaming, multi-game subscription services, operating systems, and the merger itself. I can't believe they're bringing Windows into this, but whatevs. Some third parties referred to Microsoft Xbox, Sony PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch as competitor platforms, though Nintendo was perceived as differentiated on several bases.
God, that still continues to be so fucking stupid.
2 third parties identified the availability of attractive first and third party content as key to a platform's success. 1 third party characterized Call of Duty as unique. I wonder what that party was. And a driver of console purchasing decision making, giving its fast development cycle and large, highly engaged audience. 1 third party contended that Microsoft's recent acquisition behavior, including its acquisition of Bethesda and subsequent platform publishing policy, demonstrates a strategy aimed at foreclosing rival gaming platforms. So That's third party said that because they've bought all these studios, they're looking to foreclose rival platforms, which would harm consumers. I wonder which third party that would have been.
But Sony's been trying to foreclose Xbox for 2 decades.
Yeah, they just can't afford to buy huge numbers of studios and publishers.
So I don't understand. Like, that's why I'm over talking about this. Like, because it's beyond the point of being a reasonable discussion now. There's too much insanity. There's too much corruption. There's too much backroom dealing now to be able to have... Because all that's happening now, we're at that point now where we just keep hearing some new insanity and some new contradiction, some new hypocrisy, and it's just like, what's the point? Like, there's clearly dodgy stuff going on in the background here, so what's the point? Because we're trying to understand stuff that you can't understand. Oh, Nintendo doesn't count. Oh, Microsoft's trying to hurt Sony. I'm like, are we seriously saying these things? Like, and this focus on Call of Duty. So, can someone tell me something, and maybe I'm not aware, is there some law, like some law written into every country in the world where Activision has to continue making Call of Duty?
No.
There isn't, is there?
They
could stop making Call of Duty tomorrow, couldn't they?
Yep.
I'm not saying they would. I'm just saying they could
stop
making Call of Duty just because they feel like it tomorrow. Come up with another military shooter and call it, I don't know, At Your Service. Just make some new military shooter called At Your Service. It's an Xbox exclusive military shooter. And it's only on Xbox. And that's Call of Duty going forward. And then what's everyone left with? Call of Duty's gone. So we don't have to stress about Call of Duty. Let's just take Call of Duty out of it. And then if Call of Duty disappears, then there's no stress. We have a new shooter now that we've made with Xbox called At Your Service.
Yeah. Do you see
they
that
should
going
do that
well?
for just shits and giggles, because this whole thing about Call of Duty is just stupid. Like,
do you see it going well if they tried that? Like the reaction?
Like, I don't even care.
I
don't even care. I just want it to be over. I just want it to be over. I'm so over it. Like,
this is the thing, right? So, out of all those third parties, right, they had some concerns on various things about the cloud market. Already dominant in the multi-game subscription space, said 1 third party. 2 third parties commented on Microsoft's combined portfolio of Windows operating systems, Azure, consoles, multi-game subscriptions, and expressed concerns about the impact on competition of adding Activision's content and studio development capacity to that existing portfolio. And 2 of the third parties did not express concerns about the merger, while 3 contended that the merger would have a negative impact on competition, including by affording Microsoft the ability and incentive to foreclose potential and existing rivals in the console buy-to-play, console multi-game subscription, and cloud.
This is all about PlayStation. How are they going to foreclose PlayStation? How? Like, how is Sony going to go from the market leader in high-end gaming to completely gone, just because of Call of Duty? It is the dumbest shit that I keep hearing, and that's why I don't want to talk about it, because we just keep hearing dumb shit like that. So what if Sony's not the market leader? Who gives a rat's ass? Like, who cares? Aside from Twitter fanboys and etc., who cares if PlayStation's not the market leader anymore? Who gives a shit? It really doesn't matter at all in any way, shape, or form.
There you go. But that's the kind of latest news. There was some other stuff though. Apparently, and this was a headline from, I can't remember who did it. Xbox fanboys track Sony executives private.
Oh yeah, apparently people were tracking the jet. So apparently there's a private jet that's gone to Seattle. So someone said, "Oh, they're probably meeting with Microsoft to discuss terms on Call of Duty." But then other people were like, "Well, hold on, Bungie and Bend are in or near Seattle." But then other people are like, "But why would they take a private jet just to go meet with Bungie?" Which is a pretty good point. Why would they take a private jet just to go see Bungie? If they're taking a private jet to Seattle, I think the logical conclusion is it's for something emergency and something very, very important. What's the most important thing Sony's doing right now? Trying to get APK blocked. So there's a fair chance that's what it's about. But this, oh my God, this whole
was
Call of
it
Duty
Eurogamer that said it was fanboys tracking private jet, and it's like it's Foss Patents who.
Yeah, wasn't it
like,
that? Who's Foss? I've never even heard of this Foss Patents guy, but
he's
it's like
does a lot
Xbox
of stuff,
fanboys.
And he's like, "Oh, I guess I'm an Xbox fanboy." And I was like, "No, he's just a guy who's like really into this merger shit, and he's got a pretty active Twitter about it." And he was like, he noticed it, and
yeah.
Yeah,
But apparently it's
immediately
Xbox fans tracking the jet.
It's like
isn't it-
stalking Sony executives.
Don't you think it's weird? Don't you think it's weird that there always has to be a frame of it in the negative way?
Yeah, I
It
know.
always has to be.
It's like Luke Plunkett is writing for all these people.
Well, you
It's
saw
like-
what happened with they had the PSVR 2 news hit. It didn't do very well, and then the next day they just all went crazy with anti Xbox stuff gets clicks, and so they just never stopped doing it. It's their go-to.
Why is it that PSVR 2 is like it's the second coming when there have been fantastic experiences in existence on PS4? Is it just because it's
a really nice headset that is a bad ecosystem now. Like it doesn't bring any of your previous purchases over. There's a handful that are free upgrades. There are a handful that are paid upgrades, and then there's just a lot that are missing. But it's a nice headset. But I think most people want to do VR on PC because it's infinitely more available and malleable and controllable.
At least it's one cable this time. I mean, it would still be better if it was wireless, but at least it's like one cable this time as opposed to the full. God, I remember when people used to fawn over PSVR, the first one, and I'm like, how can you people be bothered with the 73 cables that you need just to hook this thing up? I'm like, how can you be... Like, I bought a Quest 2 because I'm like, you know what? It's wireless at least. I can just chuck it on my head and not tethered to anything. The experience is good enough. I can play Beat Saber. I can do some web browsing. I just, whatever. But I found I just wasn't using it. I was never using it. So I paid $600 or whatever it was, and I just never used the thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I still think VR has a future in tourism and sporting events and concerts and stuff like that. But
VR's great. It's not the most incredible thing in the universe, right? And it blows my mind that there's such an attitude about it that it has to be. Yeah. It can just be okay. It could just be fun. But I think Sony are probably going to regret launching that device at that price in this economy. I think they're crazy.
For a console that's already been difficult to get.
Yeah, it's just not.
Although its availability is much better now.
Is it?
Yeah, I walked into.
It's available pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, you can just walk into stores to an extent. Although the digital is very hard to get because the digital is a scam that they never intended to actually sell. But a disc one, the disc ones are quite easy to get, even in Australia, which is surprising.
Wow.
I've been walking into JB stores and saying, "You guys got PS5s?" Like, yeah, the disc one, not the digital. Like, no one has the digital one, but the disc ones you can get, which is good. Which is good because I know a couple of people that wanted one, and I mean, no, I won't say it because there's a chance he'll watch the episode, so I won't say it. But yeah,
fair enough. But yeah,
let's just say I acquired one. I acquired one myself yesterday.
Fair.
For someone.
It's worth mentioning that there is a meeting confirmed with the CMA here, or no, the EU Commission, I think, here in Europe.
Sony's going to attend
on the 21st, presumably to talk about concessions, whatever they're gonna do. Whether it will land or not is another matter entirely. But
I have.
We'll see, folks.
I'm still in this weird space where I'm happy for it to be blocked because I'd rather that money goes to better publishers. But at the same time, there's no legitimate reason for this to get blocked. If it gets blocked, great. Good. That's 70 billion that can go to Sega and Capcom. But
what's mental is if it got blocked in the EU or it got blocked in America, in the way that
it won't get blocked in America. America is the one place it will not get blocked.
But
they can just do it whether they like it or not.
This is the thing. This is what I mean, right? Is the UK is the only country that has no appeals process, or it has an appeals process, but they can't take it to court because in court the facts support their argument 100%, but the CMA can just go, eh. And even if they appeal, the CMA gets to re-review their existing work and decide if they were correct or not, and that's it, and it's done. It's crazy. That is crazy to me.
Just pull out of the UK.
Yeah, can you imagine?
They would have to pull all of Microsoft out of the UK, which they won't do.
Okay.
They won't do that.
Well, how much does ABK mean to them? Like, I mean, if they're willing to spend 70 billion, does the UK bring in 70 billion? Then
it's one of the largest markets.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, then, I don't know, man. Like I said, take that money and money hat the shit out of everything and foreclose Sony that way, if apparently they're trying to foreclose Sony. Just go and money hat everything. Or maybe reveal your numbers, right? Maybe reveal your console sales numbers. So if it's closer than people think it is, maybe your third-party deals won't cost you as much as they've been costing. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, all the analysts have told me on Twitter that Sony's almost 2-1. What are you talking about?
Oh, 2-1. It's not 2-1. It's not 2-1. Not even close to 2-1.
4-1.
If you think Xbox is at like 15 million or whatever, then you're on serious drugs. But anyway, I just one way or the other, I want this to be over. I just don't.
It's the next couple of months, man. He'll be done.
I'm so tired of, again, if we were hearing really cool, interesting stuff out of it, like I said, back when at the start, when we heard about Brazil and Brazil outlined everything that they had concerns about, and then they addressed them all, that was interesting stuff. I learned some things there. Now, all I'm learning is that the CMA is kind of corrupt because Jimbo's from the UK and he's probably got mates at the CMA that are doing work for him behind the scenes. Oh, great. Well, that's an interesting thing to talk about. Like, it's just... we're not learning anything. The CMA is just talking shit and saying stupid things that just sound like they're defending Sony, but then they're using the... they're sort of trying to hide that fact by saying, oh, we're concerned about cloud too. Cloud, we're concerned. But are you concerned? I mean, Google already shut themselves down long before this deal hasn't gone through yet, and Google already took themselves out of it. Amazon, for the last 2 years, haven't bothered investing any money, so ABK is not stopping that. Activision's never put their games on cloud services anyway, so nothing actually changes there. So, like, it's so easy to pick holes in the CMA's argument that a regular dumb pleb like me can do it. So the fact that Microsoft's and Activision's high-priced lawyers, who have probably argued better things than I have, can't get through to the CMA, then what are we even talking about here? What are we even talking about?
You're not wrong. It's
so dumb. Like, it's just so dumb. That's why if I was and again, I know you already told me they're not going to do it. The UK is a big market. I'd still be like, cares? Piss off. Call their bluff. So we'll just leave the UK.
Man,
bugger you.
I'd love to see the carnage. Don't get me wrong.
Go do all your work on Google Docs, losers. And see how you go with that.
Enjoy the carnage.
Dicks.
You pricks.
They're just idiots. Like, it's just so stupid. Go work on Google Docs. And you're all on PlayStation and Switch anyway, so you're not losing anything with Xbox, because apparently Xbox's physical sales is a demonstration of how poorly Xbox is doing there. Let's track physical sales in the UK. Okay.
There's so much stuff I could point at, though. Like, let's look at games media. Let's have a look at all the third-party releases and where the most reviews land. What does that tell you? If the games media isn't reviewing specifically Xbox games, unless they're exclusive to Xbox, they're always reviewing on PlayStation. What does that say to you that the market is doing? What does it say?
But they keep coming back to this word foreclosure. And I've been saying from January, February last year, it's impossible. You're not going to foreclose PlayStation. This isn't Sega. Like, it's not the same scenario. PlayStation is not going to go from being the behemoth it is now to gone just because of Call of Duty. Like, that's not how it works. PlayStation is too entrenched. Like, the absolute worst case scenario is third place. A successful money-making third place. That's the absolute worst case. Hell freezes over. Worst possible scenario. And who cares? Even if that happened, who cares? Aside from PlayStation fanboys that would like, oh my God, they'd be on suicide watch.
Yeah, to your
point, aside from them,
Hogwarts Legacy had 16 reviews on Xbox. It had 83 on PlayStation.
Like,
even Hi-Fi Rush, which is an Xbox game, had 40 on Xbox and 30 on PC.
You see what I mean? Like, that in and of itself is an indication of how entrenched the PlayStation platform is with the very look at it irritates me. Look at how the media dunks on Xbox. Xbox is easy to farm clicks on, negative news cycles over and over and over.
Xbox has no games. Xbox is making no money according to the latest financials. But if Xbox gets ABK, it's a monopoly. And all of a sudden, PlayStation disappears the next day. That's the logic we're working with right now. And apparently same with cloud. Even though Microsoft openly said before they even tried to buy ABK, they said cloud will never replace consoles. It will always be supplementary or complementary or whatever it is. This was before buying ABK. But now if they buy ABK, cloud is super important and Microsoft's going to have the monopoly on it. All of a sudden. Everyone's internet just improves overnight to the point where cloud now can replace a native experience and we can't have Microsoft being the monopoly in that experience. It's just insanity. It's just stupidity and insanity and it's just dumb. It's just dumb. All these same people that are like anti-ABK, who are the same people that are like, oh, cloud streaming sucks. But now you care if Microsoft's the market leader in cloud, do you? Because they might get ABK. Piss off. Just piss off with your disingenuous horse shit. Just argue it on its merits. Microsoft is third. Maybe they'll go first. That's it. If they get ABK, maybe they'll go first. If they lock down COD.
Big if.
Maybe they'll go first. Because wasn't there a bunch of surveys that showed that not that many people would actually switch from PlayStation to Xbox if Call of Duty was exclusive? I don't agree with those results. I think a lot of people would not switch per se, but there's a lot of people right now that have bought a PlayStation 4 or 5 just to play Call of Duty that would probably have to buy an Xbox as well.
Yeah.
And then a percentage of those would probably sell their PlayStation and buy an Xbox. Okay. So what's the big deal? What's the big deal?
I mean,
video game consoles. Like,
speaking of that, and I know you brought it up temporarily, but the headline where Microsoft admits Game Pass cannibalizes game sizes.
Oh my god! Like, that's a revelation. We found that odd back then when they were saying to us, no, it actually helps game sales. We actually found that odd that it's like, but I mean, I still buy games when they go on sale. I would never buy a day one game if it's on Game Pass, because why the hell would I? Like, that's the whole point of having Game Pass, or half the point of having Game Pass. I pay them every month.
The actual quote was about 12 months after release, which gets left out.
Yeah, it's like, and that was Games Industry Biz that ran that, right?
Yeah.
Did they read the quote? I mean, yeah. Well, that's what it says. It says, but you didn't. That's not the headline you wrote. You know why you wrote the headline the way it is.
But even if it does cannibalize game sales, which
after release,
when Game Pass was first revealed to have day one games, I would have assumed it would cannibalize game sales. That's just the assumption I would make.
It's like, duh.
Because, like, why wouldn't it? Why would I go and buy a game for $100 day one if I'm paying $16 a month to get it day one anyway? Like, I think where some of the slightly more reasonable people are saying is that allegedly, Phil once said, no, it doesn't cannibalize game sales. It actually helps game sales. My guess is he was talking about probably specific cases, because it wouldn't apply across the board. Like, logically, it wouldn't apply across the board.
Like, he's probably talking about in the first year. He's probably literally what he's talking about, because word of mouth, and when a game goes viral and yada yada yada. Yeah, if you're not subscribed to Game Pass, it probably does help.
But here's my thing. Why do people care?
Mate,
can I ask why? No, I'm genuinely curious. Why do people care if it cannibalizes game sales? That developer already got paid for being on Game Pass. And then being on Game Pass, if they're also on PlayStation and Switch, they may have got some free advertising to then get sales on those platforms. So they're not worried about sales on Xbox because they got paid for their game being on Game Pass. So I don't understand where this faux concern is coming from. It's cannibalizing game sales. And for Microsoft's first party, don't you stress. It's Microsoft's first party. Let them worry about whether it's cannibalized game sales or not. Why are you worried for them?
Bro. There is a whole contingent
on Game Pass. They probably don't want you buying the game. They want you on Game Pass, giving them money every single month.
Isn't a negative for them if they get you into their ecosystem and you spend more and more money over time. Like, that's what they want. They want to make more over time. Losing one sale here or there doesn't hurt when they get more out of you.
It's just weird. Like, I went and bought the Hi-Fi Rush upgrade. That's what Microsoft wants. They want me giving them $16, and then for the games I really care about, giving them an extra bit of free money for deluxe upgrades to their games. That's
Redfall,
what Microsoft
I think
wants.
all of them will have that. Redfall has that now too.
That's what Microsoft wants. Like, I don't understand why people... It probably does cannibalize sales. It has to. How can it not? It's impossible that it doesn't. But we spoke back then about how some indie devs were like, we saw a spike in sales on Switch after we launched on Game Pass. We saw a spike in sales on PC, whatever. because people were trying it on Game Pass and then they'd go and buy it on the platform they prefer to play on, if it's not Xbox. So that's... I remember we spoke about that, and there was that... Is it Mike Ross? Is that his name?
Mike Rose.
Mike Rose of...
Almost got it.
No More
Descenders.
Robots, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he is one of the devs that absolutely loves Game Pass, and they want all their games on Game Pass. Then there might be other devs that are less impressed by how they performed on Game Pass or whatever. But everyone's different. I know a couple of indie devs that, and I'm not going to name who they are, who were very pleased with Game Pass and were paid quite handsomely to be on Game Pass. So you don't have to stress that their game didn't sell many copies on Xbox. They're happy. They were paid well. You really don't have to worry about them. You really don't. It's just... It's another one of those weird non-issues that people seem to want to bring up just to have something to talk about.
It's
like,
weird.
I'll say it again. Even in a world where it cannibalizes game sales, where I'm sure it would in many instances, why do you care? Xbox is a platform you don't care about anyway, so why are you worried about its game sales? Like, I don't know.
And ignore
Microsoft...
the actual context of the quote, which was after a year.
The funny thing is, I would have expected sales to pick up after a year because the game has gone on sale. So the people that want to own it then go and buy it on sale. That's what I do. If there's a game I really, really want, like Crackdown 3, I bought it on sale. Even though it will be on Game Pass forever, I'm also one of those people that has that stupid OCD in the back of their brain where I want to own a game. So the games I really care about, I'll buy them on sale so I can quote unquote own it. Even though it's on Game Pass. Devil May Cry 5 I bought, even though it was on Game Pass. What were the other ones? There was a few. There's a few games on Game Pass that I just bought so I could own them and have them or whatever. So I would have thought the post 12 months thing would have been the opposite. Because to me, that's more logical. You buy it on sale after. So you don't get to suffer FOMO because you're there day one because it's on Game Pass, but then you can still own it later and buy it when it's on sale. To me, that's the logical way to do it.
Yeah. There's a couple of super chats, just FYI.
Yes, I know. I posted them in there. I just didn't want to lose them because they get lost. Okay. They get lost in the shuffle.
The chat's having a good discussion going on right now.
Jason, $15 super chat. Totally forgot to super chat last week because I was enthralled by the Seamus interview. Great interview. Yeah. Jason was DMing me in Discord like this guy's crazy. Mandingo McThickens.
Oh, that's the best name I've heard in a while.
It's insane the influence PlayStation has on the regulators. The fact that common sense is absent is nuts. So Sony certainly has burned bridges. I say F them. Me too.
Yeah, man.
Me too. Like, I just tell them to get stuffed.
I'd be like, see you later.
Get stuffed. I'd be calling all the bluffs. I don't know, man. I'd be using my position of power as a $1 trillion company and using it to my advantage, but
that's the problem, Nick. They're going to foreclose their rivals, man.
Oh God, so PlayStation's going to be shut down because the military shooter's not on their platform anymore. All those people, all those millions upon millions upon millions of people that love PlayStation and continue to just spend money on anything with a PlayStation logo on it, they're all just going to stop tomorrow.
Correct.
If Call of Duty is exclusive.
Accurate.
All of them.
Accurate.
It's done. It's finished.
Why would you do this?
Because this one game that apparently everyone's over, allegedly, they're all just... Nah, PlayStation's finished if Call of Duty is exclusive.
It's a true story,
they're done.
Man. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen if we allow this to pass.
Remember Nick's tweet about how this might be a short one?
Yeah, I know.
Just don't say it. Never say that. It's been too
long. We're up to name a game now.
Yeah, but and then there's a bunch of questions, and you'll go on tangents, and it's always well over.
No. We'll get through it. We'll get through it all right.
But chat, thank you for the discussion and for behaving yourselves in there. Don't forget to hit like on the show.
Look, I have to apologize. I know we don't talk about ABK in the same way as other podcasts do, but that's because we're so over it, it's not even funny. Like, I've watched other podcasts where they go full-on in-depth into the ABK stuff.
Every time, but it's just repeating the same...
I know, and that's the thing. Like, you're essentially saying this... Like, if you go back through our older episodes, the time when we spoke about it the most in-depth was when there was still reasonable stuff being discussed. Like I said about Brazil. I was fascinated by Brazil's findings. Absolutely fascinated at the stuff they brought up. I was like, oh, wow, I never thought of that. Oh, that's really interesting. Blah, 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 blah. Once CMA got involved and it just started to get all stupid because Jim had clearly been talking to his mates, I was just like, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we're hearing just dumb, insane stuff that, like, the idiocy of it is breaking my brain and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't talk about it in the same way other shows do. John and I are probably two of the older people in the Xbox podcast scene, and we're over it. Like, we're just over talking about it because it's just gotten to that insane point now where there's nothing.
We're just sad. We just don't want to.
There's nothing intelligent. There's nothing reasonable to discuss anymore. It's gone into circus territory now, and I just not interested. Just not interested. How many times are you going to hear me say how stupid it all sounds? I'm sick of hearing myself say it.
Here's an interesting question. I want to hear what chat thinks about this. And yeah, it's a tangent. I'm sorry, but when this is done, so let's say either way it lands, it clears or it doesn't clear. Microsoft own ABK or they don't. The final decision is rendered. Does Phil Spencer resign, like step down and hand over the reins? Does he retire and just
regardless of the result?
Regardless of the result, is this the end of the era of Phil Spencer? And I'm not saying that like. I don't want him to step down, right? I think he's done great things for Xbox, and I think he's a really nice guy. And it's often helpful to have those two things, a nice guy in charge. But do you feel like he's probably aged a fair bit?
He's probably over it. He's probably over it.
And he's probably just like, do you know what? I'm done. I've either succeeded and I've handed over a Xbox that's stronger and bigger than ever before. Thanks everyone, I'm out. Or I failed. I've done the best I could. I gave it my shot. I'm out.
I don't think he failed. I think he
in terms of ABK. I mean specifically, not. I think he's succeeded.
Yeah, but ABK is more a Microsoft thing, isn't it?
Oh, and that's kind of why I mention it.
Like Satya's been getting involved in this, so I don't know if Phil is has the same involvement as he did with, say, Bethesda. Like, it feels like there's a lot more in. Like, again, Satya's been getting involved in the ABK one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Phil has, sort of, to use a sporting analogy, he's laid the foundation where someone else could just take over and keep things going.
Yeah.
And I'm fairly confident there are people under Phil who are arguably more aggressive and like you know how Phil always gets that nice guy tag? He's too kumbaya, he's too Mr. Nice Guy, blah, blah, blah. He's not aggressive enough. If that's your concern about Phil, there are people under Phil who are far more aggressive in the way I think you're asking for under him. There are people under him way more aggressive. I won't name names, but there are people under him that are way more aggressive. If that's what you're after. But yeah. If Phil goes, he's left things in a good way where someone can just take the baton and keep on going.
I hope he keeps on going. But yeah, I'm just intrigued.
He has to go long enough to be on this show again.
Yeah, we've got to get him going for episode 200.
Yeah, we got a year to go.
Yeah.
Or if maybe we can talk to him at E3.
Maybe we can talk to him at E3.
And
chat, would you guys love to see us at E3, all three of us in June, doing a live podcast from E3, from the hotel, whatever? Would you guys like to see that? Would that be a cool episode for you? I think it would. We're going to see if we can make it happen this year. persuade Nick to leave his.
That's hot.
His den.
Patreon, please, and then we can make it happen.
Yeah, Patreon helps. We will make it happen. And if we can make it happen, yeah, you can be damn sure we'll be like Phil, and we'll try and replicate one of my favorite interview type things, which is Jeff.
My plane ticket would be very expensive.
Yes, I know. Mine would be pretty pricey too.
Jesse's just the drive. Jesse just has to drive on over.
Drive. That's how fucking long a drive.
How far is Florida from LA? How far is Florida from LA?
Right. How long to?
I'm trying to think of it from an Australian distance
Tampa
perspective because
to
our countries are
Los
very similar in
Angeles.
physical size.
Bro, it's coast to coast. That's a long time.
Is it?
Coast to coast, if I was to drive, is 34 hours.
Really?
Yes, America's really
Oh,
big,
wow.
Nick. It's very
I
big.
know it's the same size as Australia. I just wasn't sure what the where Florida was in relation to LA. That's all.
About as the only thing worse would be going to like Seattle. Like that's corner to corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at
And
least
that's
it's just
with
a local
good
flight.
traffic, 35 hours.
At least it's just a local flight, though.
Yeah, flying's like, I don't know.
Be like what,
$500
$100 flight?
No, it would be like $400 or $500. But it would be because it's like a 6 hour. It's like about a 5 to 6 hour flight.
You got to remember, flying across the US is still pretty fucking huge.
Yeah, it's a long flight.
So
No, I know. Australia is the same size geographically. We're basically
it is
the same size.
2,525 miles of driving.
Okay, so it's more like us going to Perth, like Melbourne
Very
going to
far.
Perth. Okay,
Even in the air, it's a lot. We're big.
fair enough. My flight would be way more expensive though.
Yeah, it would be pretty rough.
And if I'm doing LA from Melbourne, I'm probably upgrading to business class. I don't think
you're
I
going
could-
in the fucking back, mate.
I'll pay out of my own pocket. I'll pay out of my own pocket for the business class upgrade. I am not flying to LA economy. That is a long ass flight to do. I'll get deep vein thrombosis doing LA or Melbourne.
Or maybe the Patreon goes nuts because people really want to see us there.
I would love it. Like
I
we
have
do it, we do
points.
it.
I have Qantas points. I'll use my Qantas points to try and get a reasonably priced business class upgrade.
We also
to
have to
make
buy
that
like
flight
lapel mics. We'd have to get a lot of stuff.
to make that flight bearable. If I'm doing economy, then I need heavy narcotics to put me to sleep for the entire flight.
Oh man,
Like full on drug. I hate flying. Hate it.
yeah.
Hate
I'm not the biggest fan of flying. Right. I'm really not. But I can survive it. And to get like especially if I can do a direct flight. Like I've flown to Florida from the UK. I've flown to Georgia from the UK. And I've flown direct flight to Seattle from the UK. It's doable. It's a long haul. It's 10-hour flight, but I'm fine.
Yeah, my flight would be longer than that.
So, chat, XboxEra community, our Patreon. If you guys want to see it, help us make it happen. We've got like 3 months. It's really fun.
I'm not asking all of you to pay for me for a business class flight.
Are you sure?
I will put the difference and get the upgrade. I wouldn't expect all of you to pay business class for me, but I'm not doing that flight economy. I'm not doing it.
That's kind of you, bro. It's kind of you that you would.
I'm not doing it. It's too long. It's too long.
It would be such a cool show, man. We would be able to do so much. We'd have so much fun with it. Like I would.
Yeah.
I would
Trying
absolutely.
to meet people, trying to meet Phil.
Just being able to just go around, and we'd be able to just bring it to the community in a different way.
Catch up with Rand, punch him in the face.
Give Rand a kick to the shins. Why would we do that? We love Rand.
Give
What
him
are
a
you
kick
talking
in the
about?
nuts.
What are you
We love Rand, but Rand does a lot of making fun of Nick, which we also love.
Yeah, that's why we love Rand.
Catch up with the Iron Lords. Say hi to all of them. I'll go to the gym with Cognito. See if I can outbench him.
I doubt
I don't know, Mbarra.
I doubt
it. I don't know. Don't look at my physical size and think, oh, Nick's weak. Mate, don't worry. I'm stronger than you think.
Even with those little
I'm
chicken legs.
I'm up to almost... The funny thing is, my chicken legs are the strongest part.
Chicken legs.
I'm up to nearly 35 kilos. 35 kilo dumbbells, which is like what? What's that? 35 kilos. It's like 70 pound? Roughly?
I guess. Yeah.
Don't worry. I can bench okay. I can hold my own.
Okay.
I'll
all right,
have
all right.
Me and Cognito will go past the gym and we'll see how we go. I'll do a workout with you.
And I have put the code into the private chat, Nick.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, for buzzing.
Oh, okay.
For our next segment. Although we
hold on, I just saw a comment in the chat. Oh, Cog looks like he could get 350 up easy. I don't know about that. I don't know. But if I get to LA and I meet with Cog, I'll try and go to a gym with him and we'll film it and everything. We'll have like a competition. And we'll get someone to film us working out.
God.
I reckon. Pretty good.
Sure.
Make a lot of people very hot and sweaty, I reckon.
How were you so much more muscular in the Halo show? Was that just special effects?
That's all CG.
It's all CG, the chicken.
Just like Hemsworth in Love and Thunder. Like a lot of that is CG.
Really?
Mm.
I did not know that. Mind blown.
A lot of that is CG. Yeah. I'll do 300 style. I'll airbrush. Nice defined abs. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, okay. Well, it's that time in the show, chat.
Yep.
For Name a Game, this is where Nick and I face off. Hit that cool intro thing.
It's
Okie dokie.
It's
Now,
Name a Game time.
We've got to start getting into this habit. Let's start with who we're playing for. I am playing for who I believe to be Yikes, because his name in Patreon's Tyee, and he's got quite a funny email address that references swear words in Greek. So I'm pretty sure it's Yikes.
That's lovely. I am playing...
John is playing for Mort, and I know Mort's watching because Mort is in the chat.
I've seen him in the chat. I'm playing for you, Mort.
Yep. I'm playing for Tyee, and John is playing for Mort. You will get yourselves a code for something. Jesse will go with you and see what game Tyee wants, because Mort won't be getting a free game.
What?
But yes. So,
wow. I see how it is.
Anyway, I mean, look, the weather's very nice here in Melbourne still. And I know in Australia it's coming into autumn, but in the US, it's coming into spring, isn't it? Now, everyone loves a good spring clean.
That's true.
And the best place to spring clean, most people think, oh, I've got to spring clean the house, I've got to clean my room, I've got to clean my game consoles. The best place to actually spring clean is inside your pants. That's actually the best place to spring clean. Don't worry about the bathroom. Don't worry about the game room. It's in your pants. So to get the best tools for spring cleaning down there, you go to Manscaped, you use our code, XboxEra, and you get 20% off and free shipping. And then, mate, downstairs, too good. Just make sure to not use the guard. Always make sure. Because then you get the best spring clean going around. I mean, right now, odds are, if you already bought yourself a Lawnmower 4.0, there's a fair chance that for National Shave Your Balls Day, you're already like sort of clean down there. But with spring coming, it can't hurt to just give it another once over, just to make sure. But if you don't have it yet, Lawnmower 4.0, USB-C charging too. Probably got like 100 USB-C.
If you're Greek and you need it for the unibrow?
I don't have a unibrow, despite being Greek, which is always weird. I always wondered why I never had one. I guess I should be thankful.
Adopted?
that I don't have one. But yeah. If you are like some of my relatives and you need the monobrow god, then okay. Grab one for that too.
We did for the game.
Yeah.
All right. And I have added in a suggestion. Somebody brought up, what if every once in a while we threw in an antonym instead of a synonym? So it would be a game where you're saying the opposite of what the game's name would be instead of like words.
Don't you mean you're saying the opposite?
Yes,
like
I'm
we're
saying
guessing the game
and you
based
have
on
to
the opposite?
Yes, you're guessing it based off an antonym.
If you're going to
Like,
do
could be a
that,
nice
then they
hard
need to
one.
be quite simple ones, especially to
This
begin
one
with.
is, yes.
What's the topic?
This one the topic this week are video games released in the year 2015.
Oh God. Okay.
It's only like 8 years ago.
Okay. Oh, we can do this. We can do this, bro.
Yeah, they're mostly big ones. I didn't choose small games. They're mostly very well-known games. In fact, they all are. These are
We can
all
do
well-known
this.
games.
We can do
Stop your
this.
bitching.
Yeah. Come on.
The first one is maybe the longest thing I've ever written out. It is Ingot Cog Stiff Cinco, the Apparition Ouchie. Ingot Cog.
So is this an opposite now, or is this
No,
a normal one?
Oh.
I'll say when it's an antonym. These are the normal. There's only one antonym. This is Ingot Cog Stiff Cinco, the Apparition Ouchie. It's really easy the moment you know what I'm talking about.
I think I know what this is. I'm trying to remember because you've used ingot before. And see, because my internet was playing up before, so I don't have the show up to read it. And can you say it again? Ingot.
Ingot Cog Stiff Cinco. Nicomechanico.
No. Yeah, I thought. What?
I said Nicomechanico.
Oh, I thought you said Sika Mechanico. I'm like, I buzzed.
I call you
I'm like,
Nicomechanico all the time.
Metal Gear Solid.
Oh shit! I need to.
5, the Phantom Pain.
Correct. And I'm redoing the scoreboard real quick.
I went to say Ghost Recon, and I'm like, wait, Ingot is at the start. It's not Ghost Recon.
Double audio. Jesse, just F1.
Oh, goddamn webcam thing. Okay, because I turned desktop audio on so people could hear the buzz, and it did not actually mute the webcam, so it's fine now.
Okay.
Oh god, do I have to go into scoreboard?
Refresh
every
the
time?
buzzer.
Yep, I am. So very annoyingly, the scoreboard's being a dick and will only update when I go into it and out of it. All right. So, and I've got to get the next question up. Next question is, I gotta get it so you can actually, everyone can see it. Here we go. All right. Godliness, earliest transgression.
What's the start part?
Godliness. Godliness.
Earliest transgression.
Earliest transgression.
Godliness, earliest.
Oh.
I don't think I'm going to win. Not feeling it today.
Oh. Shit.
Godliness, earliest.
It's there. It's on the tip of my tongue. The earliest transgression I've got, it's the godliness I'm trying to remember.
Almost,
Oh
Alvin.
my god, what's the name of this game? Earliest transgression. That part I've got. I'm trying to. It's not a game I normally play.
I mean,
just
you
know
can
the
answer,
second
Alvin.
part
They're
of
not
it.
allowed to look at chat.
Well, have chat got
Because
it?
if I say
Yes.
the second part, it's going to give John the answer for the first, like he did to me many shows ago.
I'm going to
If I
start
get-
up the 10-second
I know
timer.
the second part. I know the earliest transgression part. I just don't know the first part.
All right, starting up that 10-second timer, and then I just give the answer out.
Because if I say the second part, John's going to get the first part.
3, 2, 1.
The second part was First Sin, wasn't it?
Yes, it is.
Divinity,
It's-
original sin.
See?
Yeah.
Told ya, Divinity.
It's
I told
true.
ya, if I said First Sin, he'd get it. I told ya. I didn't know the first... I don't play Divinity. I don't know what Divinity is. But when I heard earliest transgression, I'm like, that's like First Sin. There must be a game called First Sin. And I thought if I say it,
I was like, oh, fuck,
John's going to know. John's going to know if I say First Sin.
All right, nobody gets that one.
Yeah, okay.
The next one is one word with a hyphen in the middle. So it's 2 words, but the actual game is 1 word. There will be a hyphen in the middle. It is
Please reset the buzzer.
Icor
2015.
Birth. Icor hyphen Birth.
How are you spelling Icor? Because I'm not looking at the YouTube feed.
ICHOR. Icor. Icor.
Icor Birth.
Icor Birth, hyphenated, 1 word. Ichor-birth.
One is the hyphen in the original word?
No. These are 2 words to create the one word of the game itself. You will get it immediately, or be like, I understand. Psychomechanico.
You've used this before. You've used Ichor.
Yeah, the Ichor. He's used Ichor before.
The highest rated PS4 exclusive from Software, aka Bloodborne.
Correct.
Yes. Back in the fucking game.
Back in the game.
Fuck.
God damn it, I have to go into the scoreboard every time I update. That's so annoying. Okay. Scoreboard updated. The next one. I will.
Giant buzzer.
The next one is Scoop Cavalier. Scoop
Is
Cavalier.
it a game about ice creams?
No. Scoop Cavalier. This is a hard one.
Scoop.
Wonder if chat gets it. They might look up what Cavalier means.
Cavalier.
I know what Cavalier means. I'm trying to think of a synonym for it. That's a video game.
It's not
from
Cavalier
2015.
as in like a Cavalier attitude. Not that.
Oh, that's what I thought. I was thinking Cavalier as in a Cavalier attitude.
Wow, Mort got it immediately. Wow, you guys are idiots compared to our chat, like always. Way to go,
then
chat.
You're going to be talking about medieval Scoop.
Oh, medieval. Haha, you just gave me the answer.
Nicca Mechanico.
Shovel Knight.
Correct.
Yeah, he's right.
That's why I don't talk. That's why
Yeah,
I
all
didn't
right.
say
Don't
first sin
help
before,
me.
because I knew it would give you the answer.
Help
As soon
me
as you
just-
said medieval, I'm like, scoop, shovel.
Scoop Cavalier. That's great.
Thank you.
Shovel Knight.
All right,
good.
I'm
That's
gonna
why you don't
go-
talk. You don't give me clues.
I'm sorry, Mort. I'm sorry, bro. I'm trying.
Don't talk.
All right. Next one is going to go with something a little difficult. I want Nick to get it too easy. The next one
Why?
is...
He's won like 5 games this year. I've
I
only
like
won
Mort.
like 2.
I don't know Taikisar, so I like Mort. I'm going to throw it for him. Next one is Projectile Organization.
What?
Projectile Organization.
Oh, projectile.
Yes, Projectile Organization.
Oh,
Man.
I know the first. Now it's like Divinity's Original Sin. I know the first word and not the second one.
Stick a Mechanico.
You beat me.
Oh, please let this be. Please let me be right. Please let me be right, because it will really
Yeah,
annoy
just-
you. Please let me be correct.
Oh, you're out of
Easy.
time. All right, next chance.
Rocket League.
Yes, it's Rocket League.
It is. I was thrown by 2015 because
Oh
it came
my
out on
God.
Xbox. It came out on Xbox in 2016. February 2016 is when it came out on
Like
Xbox.
I went down a crazy road with that. I was like, projectile. I was thinking
my
like Bullet
first
Storm,
thought-
and then I was like,
Nah.
2015.
My first thought was Missile Command for some reason. Like the first game that came into my head was Missile Command. Well, it is. That's also counts, doesn't it?
Yeah, that could be
It
an
just
answer.
didn't come out in
Come out in
2015. It
2015.
came out in like 1973. But
That
that's
was-
that's the
That's a
thing.
really good one. Projectile League.
Projectile
Imagine
Organization.
I want to see you
Projectile
try and get in games that have popular sequels, and I want to see the version of this for Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Powered
Supersonic
Battle Cars.
acrobatic rocket powered battle cars. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I want to see, Jesse. One time you got to sneak it in.
Next one for the
Oh, it's
win.
down to
As long as
wire.
one of you gets it, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left. So you got to get one of these next 4 right.
Come on.
Existence is peculiar. Existence is Psychomechanico.
Fuck. What?
Fucking life is
Oh,
strange.
Incorrect.
Damn.
No, correct. Gotcha. Yes, you win. Way to go, Mort.
Damn, I
should be
knew
like-
that one straight away too. I thought I buzzed way faster.
This works for lag. There's no cheating. There you
I
go.
didn't say there was. I'm just saying.
Oh, I know.
thought
I'm just
beat
saying
to
for
it.
people, anyone watching, I know we're all spread out across. Also, Nick has started to really sound like shit. I don't know why that happens.
Oh, the crackles started again.
Crackle began.
Yep. You might have moved something. Maybe there's just a cord. We never know. That's the annoying shit. All right, let's go through what's left. We've got Byproduct 4. BYPRODUCT4. Byproduct 4. Oh, Nick already closed it, so he couldn't even buzz in if he wanted to.
Oh yeah, I don't know why.
Everything's broken for Nick.
Yep, Nick's going through his webcam now.
Am I back now?
Yep.
Yes,
you get extra time to think about it while you rejoin if you want.
I didn't even hear the word. Something for
byproduct.
Byproduct. Byproduct. It's like a chemical reaction. It's what's left over. Byproduct. After Fallout 4.
Correct. Next one. Climb of the Mausoleum Invader.
Sorry?
Climb of the Mausoleum Invader.
Time.
Climb. Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Mechanico.
I couldn't even hear the word.
Xbox Game Pass only, bitch. I can't stand you either. So, see you later.
How to not get involved in the chat. Insult us.
Who is that person?
I don't know. They were joined earlier just to be a dickhead. All right, next one. The final one is the antonym. To test it out and see what you guys think. And it's a pretty easy one, I think, overall. This game released in 2015. This is the opposite of the game's name instead of similar to.
Yeah.
Heaven Ascenders. One word, hyphenated. Heaven-Ascenders.
Helldivers.
Correct.
Yeah.
See, it works.
It works.
There you go.
That was good.
I'm sorry if I offend you, Xbox Game Pass, bitch, whatever the fuck your dumb name was. I'm going to leave now. Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, Jesse. We still love you, bro. Good game, Nick. Well played.
Yeah.
You know, keeping it real.
Yeah.
Way to go, Mort. I will contact you after the show.
Love you more.
Oh shit, I'm still here. I'm sorry, Xbox Game Pass only, ick, and sometimes PS4 lol.
I think he means bitch.
You can't say that. We're gonna be demonetized, you fucking dummy.
Oh, I'm such a piece of shit.
That's what your ex-wife told me.
Oof, man, too soon.
Is it?
Depends which ex-wife do you mean? Way.
Heyo.
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 Oh, bants. Oh, the bants, lads. It's
okay.
Great. Ah, dear.
It's now time for community questions.
Hooray.
But we need to thank our patrons who give these community questions.
Look at you. You were trying to cut the show short. Here I am, like, just joking around. You're like, this is my bit. I'm like, wait, why am I not speaking?
The children's party that we have to go to starts in less than an hour.
Oh, well, look, if we're on the subject of thanking our patrons, I love doing that. It's my favorite thing to do because those guys rock. Keeping us.
How else am I going to fly to E3 without them?
Exactly. They are literally putting all of the clothes on our backs, and we love them.
If you guys want to see me at E3, like, abusing people at the Microsoft Theater and stuff, like attacking them and making fun of them. And
I don't think you're selling it to them, bro.
Just come on. Are you telling me that wouldn't make for amazing YouTube vision?
Oh,
me going up to like Microsoft execs and other gaming luminaries and being like, what's going on? Like talk to them like a full Aussie. Like,
what's going on? You pricks.
Where they're full taken aback and I'm using the C word, but in the nice way and everything. Come on, as if people wouldn't love to see that.
I would.
Phil, what's going on, you mad?
You mad? I would literally curl into a ball and die if you did that.
Phil, what's going on, you sick?
Yeah, okay. I kind of want to see this now.
Oh yeah, come on! Tell me that would be the best.
It would be cracking. I'm all for it. I'm all for
a laugh and a half of full cream dairy milk.
We had a super chat too.
Oh, we do have a super.
Oh yeah, super chat. Jason with another super chat, $15. Execs are media trained. I'm sure Phil is tough behind closed doors. Is he though?
Yes.
I don't know.
I think Phil knows how to play the
game.
Yeah, he knows how to play the game.
Play the game.
He knows. He's a cool cat, you know. He's a cool cat.
Yeah. So anyway, one of the perks of being a patron, aside from all the cool merch and all that stuff, is that you get to ask us community questions. So, yeah, we'll go with community questions.
Cool.
Let's see what we have. Okay. Top. Hello, Nick, John, and Jesse. With Double Fine releasing their fantastic documentary on the development of Psychonauts 2, this gave us an insight into not only how games are developed, but the troubles they also face along the way. From issues with the team leads, core members leaving, and even conflicting opinions on what crunch actually is. So with that, my questions. Sorry, it's 2 this week. What would you class as crunch? And finally, what do you think the leadership at Microsoft thinks of docs like this, considering they aired a lot of dirty laundry? P.S. I know the documentary is very long, however, it is 100% worth a watch. There is plenty of drama and joy to put it up there with Netflix-level documentaries. Oh, if they're airing, if it's not a fluff piece, then maybe
it is not. It is. They had full access, and we're seemingly able to show almost anything. It's very good.
Okay. Maybe I'll watch it if it's not just a fluff thing. But, I mean, it says, what does Microsoft thinks of docs? I mean, I assume Microsoft had to give it the green light.
I think at one point, once they were bought, Matt Boddy said, in the future, we'll have to go over if you can do this. Not a, you can't, but a, yeah. They said yes, but they were a little, we didn't realize you were doing we're recording pretty much everything we do all day, every day documentary at the time.
Microsoft probably thought it was a fluff piece.
Maybe, but it was. I think it was for fig backers, so legally they were obligated to do it. So at that point, it couldn't not be done.
God, that just sounded like a slur. I know it wasn't, but hearing that, fig backers.
You want to back him off fig? Huh?
That sounded like a slur at first to me. I'm like, what's a fig backer? Is that some new thing I haven't heard of?
A fig packer.
God, Greek people love figs. Like
I love fig rolls, man.
So much of my family and every Greek person I know loves figs, and I think they're disgusting. But I don't eat olives. I don't eat feta. There's a lot of stuff I don't eat that Greeks are supposed to eat. What would you class as crunch? Oh God, that's such a grey area,
I
isn't
think
it?
It's the culture when it's very long for years, not for like the last months or so.
I don't even think it's that. You know what I think crunch is to me? Because a lot of people just love working a lot of hours. A lot of people just legitimately love.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Work their hours, right? Like, look at Thomas Mahler. He's one of those guys that works 20 hours a day and he loves it, right? Is that crunch? He's working more than the norm or whatever. To me, crunch is, like Jesse said, a culture thing. If people are feeling pressured to work more than they need to, more hours past their required time, where they won't get rewarded, they'll be overlooked. Like, if they're feeling that pressure to work longer, that's crunch to me. If they're feeling that pressure in the workplace,
I think that
is crunch.
That's fair.
Because some people want to work 12 hours. Some people want to work 14 hours. Some people want to work 15 hours. And if they want to, go for it. Cool. If you love it and you want to do it. But someone who works only the 7.5 or 8 hours, but still does a brilliant job in that allotted time, shouldn't be treated any differently. And they shouldn't feel like they need to work more. Yeah, so to me, crunch is, like Jesse said, cultural in terms of how do people feel? Do people feel they have to work more even if they don't need to? Or do they feel happy still and feel like they're safe even working their normal 8 hours? That to me is crunch.
Yeah.
To me.
I think that's a good way of putting it, man.
Okay. Hytham G. Since we are getting a Master Chief Nendroid soon, this begs the question: do you guys think Good Smile could make not just Nendroids of Microsoft properties, but a Figma, Harmonia, Humming, Pop-Up Parade, Scale Figure, Plastic Models, and so on and so forth of Microsoft properties that haven't been made yet by Good Smile as of yet? Your guys' take on stuff being made as toys? P.S. I was one of these people that requested a Master Chief Nendroid, and it finally came true. Now I want a Samus, the Arbiter, and Noble Team Nendroid. I'm not going to lie, Hytham. I didn't get a lot of the words that you were saying in that question.
I think there are a lot of different products that Good Smile makes, and he's hoping that maybe we can get Microsoft versions of these. Yeah.
Harmonia, Humming. I have no idea what... Remember, I'm old.
He is old.
I don't know what these things are. I know Funkos, and that's about all I know. And I know Amiibos, and that's about all I know. But yes, irregardless of your question, Hytham, Microsoft should be doing more of this stuff anyway to get their brands and their properties out there. They should be doing that stuff anyway, but they should choose wisely.
Yeah.
Mega Bloks, It should have been Lego that they should be partnering with, but anyway. More weird choices for Halo. Anyway. Omen. Are we still okay?
Yeah, we're still good.
Oh, I was looking at Good Smile's products on stream, and boy, they are something.
Oh, is there really sexy stuff?
There's plenty of ooh-woo, yeah.
Omen. Hi all. I've been dwelling a bit on the news that Halo is switching to Unreal. And while playing a bunch of Bethesda games, I'm wondering if we're dwelling too much on how drastic this engine change might be. For example, Arcane will have released 6 games from 2012 to 2023 across 4 different engines. Here's the list below. Feel free to skip reading out this list if you'd like. Unreal Engine 345, Dishonored 1, Prey Expansion, Redfall. Void, Dishonored 2, Dishonored Death of the Outsider, Deathloop. CryEngine 4, Prey. id Tech 6, when assisting Wolfenstein Youngblood. Nearly every single game Arcane has made uses a different engine, and even Prey's expansion used Unreal when the base game was CryEngine. So the question is this: are we exaggerating how much time it might take for Halo to switch to Unreal? Personally, I'm afraid that the issue is deeper with the engine and more so 343's management. I agree with Omen.
I don't.
On all counts.
Not even a little. He's talking about a bunch of games that mostly felt really bad on console with controllers. So, yes, I think all their engine changes.
But that's not because of the engine. Like, all 4 of those engines are first-person shooter engines, and all feel like...
And those games all feel very different.
That's right. And almost all of them don't feel the best because of the developer, not the engine. And that's why I've always said I'm not worried if 343 switches to Unreal, because I have faith. Because see, I love how consistent I am. It's very hard to catch me because I'm very consistent in my opinions. The one thing 343 is the best at, and always has been compared to Bungie, is how Halo feels. If any studio is going to make a Halo game that feels amazing in Unreal, it's 343. Because they nail it. And the scary part is, I don't know how they do this, not only do 343 nail how Halo feels in each of their games, it feels different in each of their games. So Halo 4 feels different to Halo 5, which feels different to Infinite, yet all 3 of them feel great, which I find bizarre. I don't even know how that's possible.
I wouldn't worry too much about the whole Unreal thing. Like, I would just not give it some thought. Mostly for similar reasons to you, but the others is because I kind of don't know how much truth there is in it. Like, there's... As always, where there's smoke, there's fire, but I don't think it's quite means what everyone else thinks it means. So I'm just not worrying about it. And I honestly,
in the end, I don't think 343 would have a problem making an amazing feeling Halo game in Unreal Engine 5.
And
I don't think there'll be a problem.
I think that's a fair comment, sir.
It's what they've got it down to a science. 343 has it down to a science how Halo feels.
Yeah.
Like it's just... But again, all three of them feel great. I went back and played Halo 4 and that feels good, but it doesn't feel like Infinite. Like, I don't know how they do it. It's like I have to give praise where it's due. It's the one thing 343 is incredible at. Incredible.
The thing is,
the
like
gunplay and how it feels.
I can see, and hey, chat, I actually want to know this because I'm big-headed and I like praise. Anyone played Perilous in the community playlist? Let me know. Let me know how you find it. Like, I think Shyway did a video on it last week or earlier this week, yesterday maybe even, deep diving some of the cool skill jumps. But here's the thing, right? I think I've seen someone in the chat say, Jarrett Bishop, I would like to see Halo go on the back burner for a bit, 6 to 8 years. It was 6 years since the last Halo, man. I like.
You know why it didn't feel that long though?
Because it didn't feel it. An engine announce, and then they had
they kept, and and then we kept hearing stuff about them behind the scenes in the news. Then they had a 2020 demo because the game was meant to be out in 2020, but then we got an extra year. I think just all those things combined, it didn't feel like a 6-year wait. It just didn't feel like it.
This is the thing, like
Well, look at Gears.
Yeah,
Gears has only been 4, but it feels like it's been so much longer because we've heard nothing about Gears. So we're feeling this 4 years, like we're feeling it. Where with Halo, it didn't feel like 6. I'm like, really? That was like the quickest 6 years ever. With Gears, it's every week you hear people, what's Coalition doing? What's happening with the Coalition? What's Coalition? Because it's been 4 years and we've heard basically nothing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But yeah, like, I just don't worry. Don't worry, please. Love you.
Halo Dad.
Halo Gumby. Halo Gumby K.
Halo Dad.
Halo Gumby K.
Okay. Mort. Hello there. The amazing Double Fine documentary Psychodyssey, is that what it's called? Cool. Which is a must-see, by the way, made me think about a few questions for you guys. Which is your favourite Double Fine game and why? Do you think Kiln will be shown at E3? Have you heard anything about the game? Hugs, Mort. Well, the way I read out that second question should answer that question.
So Kiln is an IP that Microsoft registered several years back, I think now. And the rumor, the scuttlebutt is that is Double Fine.
The whispers.
Double Fine has a whole thing about Kiln on their website.
Do they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kiln is a multiplayer team-based brawler by Derek Band with a focus on creating unique player-sculpted characters featuring crazy physics-based animations and destruction. And there's a bunch more. They've talked about it before. They're just like, the rumor is now that this might be the next thing.
Hopefully. Which is your favorite Double Fine game and why? Iron Brigade.
Oh,
I like Iron Brigade.
That's a solid choice. I really loved Stacking.
I didn't play that.
Stacking was great. Iron Brigade was great.
I loved Iron Brigade.
They did Costume Quest, game. If memory serves.
Yes, they did. Yep. Brutal Legend.
Who did the? I think it was their first Fig. It was a point and click. Was it Thimbleweed Park, or was it? What? Was it Thimbleweed Park? Was that Double Fine? There was another one.
Broken. I can't remember.
No. Broken Age.
Something. Broken Age. Was it that?
Yeah.
Was that them? I didn't think Broken Age was Double Fine.
Yes, that was Double Fine and Harebrained Schemes worked together for Broken Age.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Lead designer Tim Schafer.
Get out, Tim, eh? Get out, Timmy boy. Timmy boy Schafer.
Tim boy.
Timo.
I think Broken Age was the first big documentary they did, and then they did another one for Psychonauts.
Psychonauts was their first ever game.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Wow. Iron Brigade, 2011. That was an Xbox Live arcade game, Iron Brigade. I loved it.
I like this original
name. It was like
name
kind
better.
of... Yes. The
Trenched.
original... What was the original? Yes.
Trenched. Oh,
Trenched, yeah.
I loved Trenched. Yeah, okay. They've made some.
It's a good game. I really like that game. That's my favorite one. Why? I don't know. Because it's one of the only ones I played. And I liked it was like a strategy game, but it was with a difference. I liked it a lot. Oh wow. Double Fine did one of the add-ons for the Playroom on PlayStation 4. Wow, I didn't know that. My Alien Buddy. I played that. I got the trophies for that. And then they did Broken Age. God, they've done a lot. Grim Fandango Remastered. Headlander. Wow.
Good for them. There you go.
Rad wasn't quite as successful. But yeah. Interesting. It's a very interesting history. Okay. DeoGame. Hi all. Quick question this week. How do you think the overlap is between Xbox fans, aviation experts, and antitrust lawyers? Asking for a friend. Wow. Apparently, as we spoke about before, Mr. Foss Patents,
who's all about he's all about
things.
Legal cases and stuff. Like he likes covering that stuff. Legal disputes.
No, he's an Xbox fanboy that's stalking Jim Ryan.
Oh shit!
That's what he is.
Yeah, man.
You get that right. Because only Xbox fanboys. Because on one hand, Xbox fanboys are very dumb, but then on the other hand, they're smart enough to track jets.
We call that dumbabolical.
Yeah, we all track jets to find out where Jim Ryan is at all times. Okay. That's because Luke Plunkett wasn't worried about people wanting to see Major Nelson at EB Games and calling them all a bunch of dickheads just because they wanted to meet Major Nelson. But we all track jets. Okay. Sure. Good old Collingwood. Hello, John, Nick, and Jesse. So something has been bugging me ever since the Developer Direct, and especially the Forza Motorsport section. There was no exact release date, just that it would be released this year. Now, the general assumption is that delaying a game makes for a better game. However, some commentators have been criticizing Microsoft and the 2022 Summer Showcase for showing games that would be released in the 12 months after the showcase. To be specific, how trustworthy is Microsoft when games don't make their promised release date? It sounds crazy to me that people can say with one breath that it's a good thing that Redfall or Starfield or Forza Motorsport are delayed so they can get the extra polish, but on the next breath complain that Phil Spencer is fibbing when it looks like a game promised for a certain time period looks like it won't make the due date. In my mind, a bug-free game should take precedence over any promised date. But what say you? Good old Collingwood. Last week I talked about snow in February. You must be much happier, Nick. Oh, I mean, now the weather is... There's a switch has flicked. It was 40 degrees on Friday. 40 nice. In my suburb, it hit 42 Celsius. And it's funny that good old Collingwood was bringing that up because we went and watched Collingwood have their intra-club match, and my kids got their posters signed and the ball signed. They got their own little footy cards made. It was cool. It was good. And the cool change arrived. Would you believe, this is Melbourne, this is why Melbourne's weather is famous for being garbage. It went from 42 degrees to 19 degrees in about 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a drop. That's a drop, man.
That cool change just swept through. So we rolled up, dressed in like singlets, muscle tops, shorts, whatever. By halftime of the game, we were freezing. We had no jackets, we had no jumpers, and we were freezing cold. It was just nuts. Absolutely nuts. Look, good old Collingwood, we've spoken about this before. I think it's silly that Microsoft keeps cornering themselves with this stuff. I also think it's not a big deal if they don't live up to it. It's not a binding legal contract. I don't know why the media cares so much. It's so ridiculously unimportant. I I don't know. I mean, John has always said when we first started XboxEra that was part of our, not mandate per se, but that was part of our thing. We wanted to be a media outlet that hopefully you won't hear crap like that. Oh no, Microsoft's the worst because they didn't fulfill 12 months. Gives a shit. Who cares?
This is the thing, right? Like,
I
you're
can't
right.
bring myself to care.
And this is the problem. Like, there's a difference, right? There's the only time I would say where we're allowed to be a little bit more vitriolic is on the show, right? Because the show is not us reporting as a media arm. We are here primarily to hang out with the chat and entertain our community, right? That's what we're here for in this particular instance. So we're never gonna, say some of the stuff we say in an official capacity when it comes to actually writing or reviewing or anything like that, because that's not our jam. Like, we just don't. That's not how any of us think. For one, we're often like, oh god, but mostly because we're actual people that play games, like the people watching. We're not. We're like you. We are just fans of the industry that want to do something more interesting in it.
I think our age plays a role.
Yeah, maybe.
We're old and it's hard to bring myself to care that Forza Motorsport may release in the second half of the year when Microsoft said 12 months. It's just so difficult for me to muster the effort to
get worked up.
Okay, so Forza Motorsport in the second half of the year. Do you not have enough games to play between now and then? Are there not enough? Like,
to play devil's advocate, the reason that you will hear Microsoft get criticized is because it took so long for their first party output to get their ducks in a row and to start this cylinder, which is what we are going to be feeling this year. We're already feeling it, right? It's just an onslaught.
Welcome to the Xbox
games.
and Bethesda Games
That's where the
Showcase.
criticism's
Today,
source is that it took them too long and they showed things too early, and now people are like, well, where are all these things? And that's fine, but to pretend that video games don't take a long time to make is just silly. They're coming. Chill out.
My thing is, there's this understanding industry-wide that delays happen a lot more now post-COVID. And again, technically, COVID's not over. Technically. I mean, we've had some controversy this week because ABK is going to force everyone back in the office. So COVID's not fully over yet. So everyone has this understanding that game delays are still a thing. So why would you hold Microsoft to the fire because they said this is all stuff coming out in the next 12 months? This is a legally binding contract, so if it doesn't come out in the next 12 months, you better let us know. Okay, so which is it? Do you still think delays happen, or is it this is a binding contract and it has to happen? Which one is it?
Yeah, it's just dumb.
You'll get Forza. Forza will come eventually. It'll come.
Yeah.
I may have already got some stuff about Forza.
Ooh.
I may have got some internal test footage and screenshots of Forza Motorsport running on the Xbox Series S home entertainment system.
You'll get people all hyped up and excited if you carry on like that, Nicholas.
There's too much stuff that gives away where those screenshots came from, so I'm not going to... If they were clean screenshots that didn't have stuff all over them that showed where it came from, I would probably have already leaked them by now, but there's too much stuff that shows where it all came from. So
give them to Pre-Drag. Let him work his magic.
This stuff's pretty... It looks like some of it is like big words.
Okay.
And plus, these build shots are very clearly, they weren't looking for any type of graphical. Yeah, these are old. They don't look good.
It's like an internal test.
People are going to use them for console warring and
okay, yeah, that's just poor.
They probably would. Like, there were moments, like if you watch the video more show, the screenshots give you an idea of what was going on. Like when you watch the video, stuff just starts, like the card isn't even all there. It's just early stuff that they must be doing for like physics and things.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the whole car's not there. Like you can clearly see it's this old test build or something that they're just using to sort of make sure things are doing whatever they're doing and whatever. But I probably already said more. Anyway. But yeah, like your games will come. There are more games to play than any one human, including Jesse, than any one human has the time to play.
You say that.
Like
I'm keeping up.
Like, don't stress. There's a lot of games out there, man. Don't
I even
stress.
played Metroid Prime on stream, Nick. I played Metroid Prime Remastered. Yeah, I played it for an hour.
That take of yours on Twitter, I don't know why I didn't see it. I didn't see that take till like the next day. I'm like, that is the dumbest take I've ever seen in my life.
I was trying to annoy people. I think it worked.
So many people took that tweet seriously. I'm like, I'm not even gonna bother replying to that tweet.
Not even.
I played it. I was like, this holds up. This is still fun. I don't think I want to go through it again.
It's amazing.
Before. No,
it's amazing.
It's not. It's a 96 on Metacritic. That's weird. That is weird to me.
Why?
It is not better than almost every game that's come out in the past decade. You need to.
I'd argue otherwise.
I could find 95 games I like more than that one, and it looks like a 360 game. It's also nowhere near the quality of
Metroid Prime is almost perfect. It's
not even close.
Almost perfect.
When it was new, I would have given it an 8.
What?
It's good. An 8's good. What do you mean? What?
Metroid
an
Prime
8 is very good.
In 2002, Metroid Prime was a 10 out of 10 game.
No.
Metroid Prime was a 10 out of 10 game in 2002.
Oh, that original control scheme was shit. No way.
It is weird that they didn't have dual analog back then. Because the GameCube controller itself technically had dual analog. So I do find it odd. Wait, did the GameCube have dual analog? Didn't it? The C-stick.
God knows.
It was weird, like 8.
Yeah, it did. It had dual analog. It had a C-stick. So I don't know why that game wasn't dual analog back then. Halo had already shown them how to do it a year earlier.
Their analog sticks were never anywhere near as good feeling back then. Like they weren't as.
I mean, I got used to it just fine. I mean, whatever. But playing it now with dual analog is like revelatory.
It's pretty easy now because it's easier to aim.
God, it's such a good game. I can't stop playing it.
It was solid. If I had to review it right now, it'd be like a 7.
I'd be giving it a 9. I'd give it a 9.
Well, everyone's giving it a 10, and it's got a 96 on Metacritic. So
I wouldn't give it a 10. I would have given it a 10 in 2002, but in 2023, it's not a 10, but it's definitely a 9.
It's the best game that's come out, barring it's better than anything, even Elden Ring for the past nearly 15 years, according to that Metacritic score.
That's really
sounds right to me.
That is nostalgia.
That's how you know it's wrong. When Nick thinks something's correct, that's how you know it's wrong.
Elden Ring sucked.
Oh God!
Okay.
And you had me get you a code, you dick.
Because I wanted to try it.
Everyone's saying this is good.
That's right. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. I played it, and I'm like, man, there's too many giant monsters everywhere. I can't walk anywhere. There's giant monsters everywhere. Everywhere I go, there's a giant monster blocking my way. Okay. Jesse brother. Happy weekend to you all. Nick, I hope you've recovered from the brutal treatment Seamus subjected you to. He truly was a legendary guest, even topping Phil and Ed Freeze. Was he though? At this point, who is the next dream guest you all would love to have on? Don't I have a story? I want Peter Moore.
Oh, I would love to have Peter Moore on.
And I pissed off a fledgling podcast. There's a podcast out there called The Sega Guys. Go and check them out.
Why did you piss them off?
So, the Sega Guys got Peter Moore on their podcast.
What?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, wow. Like, holy crap. The Sega Guys. I'd love to get Peter Moore. I've been wanting Peter Moore on our podcast for like years. I'd love to have Peter Moore on. And I got what I thought was Peter Moore's email address from a while back from someone. And I emailed Peter and didn't hear back. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's not his email address. And then I noticed that these guys had Peter Moore on. That just sounded like I said Peter Moron.
Peter Moore.
Like every time both of you have said it, it sounded like that.
I'd love to get Peter Moore on.
Peter Moore on. Not Peter Moron.
That's important distinction.
Yeah.
Made.
So I reached out to the Sega guys, but I think my reaching out upset them. I pissed them off. I didn't intend to, but I must have come across the wrong way, clearly. And I was called certain things.
Really?
And yeah.
Oh.
And that's after Seamus had called me affable and charming. clearly not affable and charming enough. But yeah. Look, I'm not going to go into the details of this exchange, this DM exchange, but be sure to check out the Sega guys podcast because Peter Moore was on there. But
what did you do?
I didn't think I did anything. I was me.
How did you tiny shits get a big guy like Peter Moore on?
I didn't say that.
Oh,
I didn't say anything like that. I was quite honest and upfront. And that was not appreciated.
How did
Let's just say
was it okay, all right.
that was not appreciated. So yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to people. I don't lie to people. And I don't see, there's certain things I can't say them without, I don't want to read out this DM or make anyone sound bad if anything, I'm making myself sound bad. But yeah, go and check out their Twitter is @SegaGuys, and they have a podcast, and they got Peter Moore on their show. I got to stop saying it the other way. And that's who I'd like. I'd like Peter Moore. And I kind of said that to them. I'm like, man, I've been wanting Peter Moore for years. How the hell did you do that? And one thing led to another, and I pissed them off very much.
Okay. Interesting.
Would I change what I said if I could go back? No. Because I was honest.
Man. You were just
I was
real.
honest. I think the person who runs this Twitter account misinterpreted a couple of the things I said. I think. Maybe.
You hope.
I'd love to read this exchange out and you can all tell me what you think, but I probably shouldn't do that. That's probably pretty rude.
Yeah. Keep it private, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, go check out the Sega guys, even though they don't like me very much. Go and check out the Sega guys podcast with Peter Moore on their show.
A lot of people are going to go look now because they also don't like you.
Sorry?
Nothing.
Nothing. Carry on, everyone.
No, Britt, I didn't swear. I didn't anything. I was very completely upfront and honest. And then there were certain things asked of me, which I... yeah. I'm not just going to do things because... Put it this way. Judging by this person's reaction, I was in a lose-lose situation. That's all I'll say. I was in a damned if I do and damned if I don't situation from the start. I think. So I just went with myself and honesty, and that did not work. So, yes, I will keep endeavoring to get Peter Moore on the show. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I also want Cliffy B. I've reached out to him on Twitter, publicly, like an idiot, being like, hey, Cliffy, why don't you get on our show? And the Iron Lords got him on. So I don't know how they did it. I don't know what connections people have. Everyone you've seen on our show is someone I have harassed. That is how I got them on the show.
I love that.
I don't have any connections. I don't have friends of friends. I don't have anything like that. I just have, as Seamus said, charming and affable me trying to get people on. Jesse, you can't believe Seamus when he does bad things and says bad things about me, but then not believe him when he says good things about me. That's not how that works.
He felt bad that he went so far with it and that he lied.
No. Anyway.
Well, I think
that was a very roundabout way of answering that question.
That was.
To say that we want to get Peter Moore on.
I'd love to also have folks like Tim Schafer.
Yeah.
I'd love to have Sarah Bond on. I'd love to have Major Nelson on one day.
Yeah.
I'd love to have the major on. White glove treatment, all of that stuff, you know?
Should we
Be
get
fun.
Snowbike Mike?
I would love to have Snowbike Mike on. I think that would
We
be
follow each other. I can send him a message. I mean, he's
Yeah,
never
okay.
asked any of us to be on Kind of Funny, but I'd be happy to have him on.
Yeah, I'd like to have Snowbike Mike on. Let's get him on.
Never been asked to go on Podcast Unlocked.
No, well, we're still small fries, aren't we?
Never been asked to go on
We're not the big cheesies.
Kind of Funny. Never been asked to nothing. I haven't even been asked to go on Rand and Jez's Patreon one yet.
Oh,
What does that tell you? Okay,
that's weird. I've been asked.
last question. And we're... Oh, wow, we've been going for quite a while. Holy crap.
Yes, mate. Yep. Yes.
Like
Same
I said,
old.
you go on tangent.
Same old. Same
I
old.
didn't realize how long we've been going for. Okay, proven. I don't know if you guys caught the new Redfall trailer, but wow, that game continues to excite me every time they show it. It doesn't seem to be getting a ton of hype online, but I think that game is shaping up to be pretty amazing. Is Arcane destined to be the perpetually under-the-radar studio that makes the best games no one talks about? Yes. Yep. I think that's exactly what they're destined to be.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment.
That's the simplest way to answer that question. I reckon they will. Deathloop was 10 out of 10s. It was PlayStation exclusive, with everything. Bupkis.
Bupkis.
Bupkis. That's just Arcane. That's why Game Pass is good for them. Because everyone will just try it. They'll get more players than they've ever had before. Ever. Doesn't matter if it cannibalises sales. They'll get more players than they've ever had before. And that's probably what they want. I'm going to guess. Especially for an online only. Oh my god, the world's coming to an end. It's digital and online only game. They probably want more players than they've ever had before. Which they'll get.
Good for them.
Yep.
Says we.
Yes. Wow. 2.5 hours or more. Did not expect that.
We are doing a thing. We're going to be trying to go earlier, like go live earlier, so people can get in and congregate and feel like they're not missing the show. So if you see us go live like 20 minutes early next week, I'll be hanging out in chat and talking with you guys while the music plays.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it.
Hooray! It's the end of the show.
We're going to go bye.
We're gonna go bye.
We've got stuff coming.
Yeah, there's the last thing. So XboxEra.com next week. We've got a fair few things landing, Jesse, right?
Okay, so early in the week is Atomic Heart. My review is written. I'm going to be making the video tomorrow. So expect that one before its Tuesday release. God, we got Grim Guardians Demons Purge, which is a Galgun Metroidvania spinoff. Remoteness, Chef Life, a restaurant simulator. Boy, and then I'm working on Wo Long. That'll be next. There's lots coming and it never ends.
It never ends.
No.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a long week. As a quick heads up as well for everyone in the chat, and Nick and Jesse already know this, I am having one of the several annual
orgies.
LAN parties next weekend. So I'll be joining some IRL friends for some Halos, Monopoly
the
deal.
worst reason to skip a show.
Food.
It's the worst reason ever to skip the show.
I've got 6 of like my best buds that I get to
Hey,
see.
grown men playing video games. I can't take a 2-hour break just to have a chat with someone.
Whatever. It's North versus
You're going to be going till like 4 a.m. If you're starting at like 7 p.m. and going till 4 a.m., you can take 2 hours out of the night to jump on.
No.
I do this on Mother's Day. I do this on Father's Day. I do this on... You can't stop playing video games for 2 hours.
It's what's happening. I've told you how it is. So yeah, love your chat. Nick will be hosting next week. No pressure, yeah?
None at all.
None at all.
I'll make sure I get Phil Spencer on next week.
Yeah.
Then how shitty you gonna feel? I'm playing video games. Sorry, Phil. I'm having fun with my friends. Sorry, Phil. I'm playing that shit game that you should have delayed longer.
God bless us.
Okay.
Anyway,
We gotta
love you,
go.
chat. We'll see you next time.
Ciao for now.